Here we go. Let's keep the energy up this afternoon. How was the morning? How was lunch? Who had a big takeaway? A big idea, a big takeaway, something that you were going to implement, something you thought about? I'd love to hear a couple really quick. Who's got a big one? Come on, AJ. Oh, dude, stop complaining, just do it, don't get in your head. I love it. Give it up for AJ. That's a big takeaway, man. It's real. We're back live around the world on Facebook and YouTube. We will have, we're thinking about 3,000 people join us around the world today, which is pretty awesome. But they're not in LA with you guys, are they? Right? Not yet. Okay. Who else? Big idea, big takeaway, something you're going to implement because of today. Yes, sir. Intake form. Cool. Yeah, man, with Dallas, I love it, brother. That's awesome. What do you think, TR? Leverage debt and invest in yourself. Yes, give them a hand. Great ideas. I love it. Big takeaways. Also, thank you to those that committed to coming to Dallas for 8% already. You can still do that. We have several that have already been upgraded. Again, we're going to do a live drawing at the end of the day. Hope you enjoyed lunch. And now it is time for our Q&A portion, where we are asking agency owners what they're doing that is working well in their business. I'll be leading the Q&A. I may even get you involved a little bit today. Our first person I'd like to welcome up is, he's one of the 5 ultimate agents. He's from Phoenix. He's now in LA. Please welcome Johnny Hannafin. Next up, she is the Director of Publicity for Insura Sales as we are live on Insura Link. Please welcome Sandra Gebhardt. And last but not least, she's a powerhouse. She showed up earlier on stage. Please welcome Erin Johnson. I love it, I love it, I love it. We're about to get down to the nitty gritty. I love your bracelet. That is so cool. I don't know if that's a bracelet or like a treasure box or what. That is cool. That's awesome. I love that. I love it. Let's give them a hand, our beautiful people up here for our panel. First, man, Johnny Hannafin. Dude, you live in Phoenix, man. Why are you here in LA?
Dude, it's crazy because this is the first event that I committed to.
Wow.
I thought this was going to be the first time I ever were to meet you. It's crazy how far we've come, how close we've gotten.
Dude,
very, very close time.
BFFs, man.
Dude, forever. For life. So, but it's just cool because I knew I'm 21 years old, but I knew I was college isn't the way to go. I know you can buy skills. You can get around people who want what you have or who have what you want. And I was like, dude, I just need to find out what is it. And I stumbled into the insurance industry.
Yeah, find people that have what you want, do what they do, you'll get what they get. Right? So true, man. You were selected as one of the 5 ultimate agents for that crazy contest where we literally put a camera in your face all day, every day, mic'd you up, GoPro in the car, the whole bit. What was that experience like?
The ultimate agent was real. It was crazy. Pressure cooker environment. I'm excited for it to come out because it really tested you, the intensity, the anxiety, the stress. Literally, we're up. All of us, this is no spoilers, all of us were up 3-4 hours. We'd only sleep for 3 to 4 hours every single night. The first night we were up till 2 to 3 a.m. All of us just getting ready for the next day. The excitement, the energy was real, but it's you want to be friends, you want to get friends, but it's you honestly want to cut their throat up. You literally are coming for their head. So it's do you trash talk? I don't know. So it's it definitely was. It was a crazy experience.
Yeah. Did you break in the room and burn the leads while they were sleeping? Or,
I jumbled them up. No, I'm just kidding.
Reordered them. I love it. What did you get selected? Because there's people out there that are listening wherever they're watching from, whether they're here, that maybe wanted to be on the Ultimate Agent, but they weren't selected like you were. Or there's things they want in life that they want to get selected for, they want to do. How did you stand out amongst thousands of submissions?
Yeah, it's crazy because when I heard about this, we were in the Rising Stars Mastermind, and hearing about this, I was like, you talked about JJ Barea and having him in that story, it was cool, but you announced the Ultimate Agent, and I was like, this doesn't seem real. Like, there's no way this is about to happen. And so I remember you sent the link out in the chat, and I was the first one to register. And I was like, this feels good. Like, we'll just put in the name in the hat. So I was like, okay, cool. Then, like, literally right before I went to sleep, like, I told Bailey, I was like, this could literally change our lives. Like, what can I do to actually get picked? I don't know. So the next day,
I'm getting goosebumps as he's telling this, by the way. I don't know if you guys are too, but I'm like,
so I'm like thinking about this. I'm like, how can we think outside of the box? So I'm like, how can I provide value to Cody? Because I know he's trying to gain exposure. He's trying to do like huge things. So how can I provide value to him? So I was like, he talked about sponsorships, but I bet nobody really took that serious. I'm like, I'm going to get him a sponsor. So that was my first plan of attack. And I was like, there's so many people that I feel like I know that could give $5,000. Because I was like, how much is it? And he's like, $5,000. I was like, dude, I would just pay for that to be able to get this experience. But so I went to this Mexican restaurant. His name, I know the owner personally. When I worked at Starbucks, he was one of the regulars and came into my store every day. I knew exactly what his iced coffee was every day. But I went to him and I was like, hey, like, there's this show, and you could actually get tons of exposure, because we were just talking a few weeks ago about getting exposure, building brand and all that. So I went to him and I was like, hey, what would you think? So he got connected with you and was like, I'll sponsor it. So that was the first thing. I was like, okay, sweet. So we got that. I was like, what else can I do? Like, how can I like you talked about grab attention. And I was like, so I posted my thing on Instagram, my entry. And I literally go through every single person on my phone and I copy and text the same message. I say, go on my Instagram and tag Cody right now. And I literally texted to like probably 200 people. Do it. And all of a sudden I just see floods of people tagging Cody, and then posted on my story. I DM like literally all my friends. I'm like, please just tag Cody. And they're like, who's Cody? I'm like, just go and do what everybody else is doing. Like, all you have to do is go to the post. And so I was like, so that's like grabbing your attention. And that's another thing that I did. And I was
mailed a letter to my office on why you were going to be selected.
Yeah, so the person that sponsored, I sent about 2 to 4, I think it was 4 burritos, free burrito tickets to that Mexican restaurant in Arizona. And I said, you need to come out. Here's burritos for you and your team, but also a handwritten letter of why I would be a great candidate, like to be picked. So that was another huge reason too. So, but I was like, who's gonna write a handwritten letter? Like, I know that would make me feel really special, and I'm like, dude, it's just, I bet nobody's really doing that. So I was in Devin's ear like every day. I'm like, what's he saying? What's Cody like? Am I even in the conversation? Am I doing enough? And he's like, I don't know. And Cody, like, we talk, and he's like, I can tell you this, like, I can't guarantee anything, but I can say that you're probably, maybe, possibly in the top 1,000. I can give you that. He's like, I can tell you that for sure. I can't say if you're in the top 5, but I can definitely assure you you're in the top 1,000. And I was like, great, dude. Like, literally, he's telling this to everybody, so.
Oh, man. Is that, like, focus, determination, and, like, creativity, and, like, trying to figure it out, man? We can accomplish anything when we set our mind to it. This dude was so determined. Real quick, you're writing over 10,000 a week, 3 of the last 4 weeks. At age 21, you've only been in the industry for a few months. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's definitely getting in the room like this, being able to, obviously the Ultimate Agent opened up a huge variety, like a huge network, being able to talk to John and talk to literally like Pete, talk to Roger, talk to you, talk to all these different people in this room. And it's like, how did you do what you did? Like Nate Offer, calling him like, dude, and he's like, literally, I'm like, how do I do 30,000 this week, the week after Ultimate Agent? He's like, bro, I'm getting ready for SWAT. Like, I can't really like talk to you. And I'm like, I just keep calling him. And then like, we talked for like 10 minutes, but I think like, just like literally people want to give. People want to like give their knowledge, but you have to show them that you're eager, that you're willing to do anything. When I got into this business the first week, I was like, I don't even care. Like, I heard Mason, he did 350 dials his first day. And I was like, dude, so I did 400 my first day. And I was like, I'll just do it, like, I don't care. But I was like, my first month, I was making 1,000 to 1,500 dials a week. And I know that's small compared to Justin, but I was like, I'm committed. Like, I don't care. My first week, I set 23 appointments and 4 showed up. And I'm like, but it's constantly leaving my ego at the door. I'm like, dude, of course I'm not going to be great. But how can I perfect it? Massive action and constant correction. So I'm going to Mason, I'm going to Ashton Delango-Lundy, I'm going to these people. I'm like, how do you master that show rate? And they're like, you got to bring out emotion, you got to bring out the why. So it's just mastery, like it's the law of large numbers. If you do it so many times, like I found that like this week, like took 8 applications, like back to back to back to back. And it was like, it's crazy because I'm like, dang, I'm actually like kind of getting better at this. Like I'm getting better at this, but it's because it's like you do it so much. You actually, like John says, do more, and then you'll get better after. But you have to have the activity up. And so I was like, all right, so I'm going to be dialing all the time, and then this will start flowing. So obviously that's worked.
Boom, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Nittingen. How cool is that? Awesome. I love it. Dude, that's what that persistence pays off, right? We've got a relationship, we're doing a lot together. It's cool. I mean, like it's you showed up and you just kept showing up, so kudos to you. Okay, next, the director of publicity for Insura Sales, Sandra Gebhardt. Why don't you talk a little bit about I don't know, should we talk about Insura Link? Should we talk about you and what you teach with, social media related? Where would you like to take this?
What if we give them the organic social media? I can do it 3 minutes, then we'll tell them about Insura Link. 3 minutes?
Perfect.
I'm nervous to follow this guy. All right, everybody grab out your pencil. I'm going to talk fast. Who has a pencil? Am I right? You have a pen.
With a eraser on
Tony?
it, right?
Oh, and here I'm thinking that we're giving the secret to all the people that showed up here in LA, but I gotta say, Cody, the sheer number of people that gave up a Saturday on a whim, they all had plans, not only in this room, but on the live stream, that's huge. So kudos to you guys on the live stream. Air clap. Woo! That's so cool. I know you guys were supposed to be at a soccer game or grocery shopping and you're here. And you guys are here on a Saturday. Like, you guys are the elite. So I'm giving it to all the elite. Ready, guys? Here we go. I call it the 5x5x5 method. Can I stand up? All right. It's better when I stand up. Here we go. All right. So this is for your Facebook profile. Okay, you guys? So what we're going to do is we're going to brand ourselves on Facebook. We're going to get more referral partners, and we're going to get more engagement with our audience, more customers, all that kind of stuff. I don't have all the time in the world, so just trust me. Okay, can you guys trust me? Can you clap for me? Can you trust me on that? I'll give it to you, but just trust me this works. We got to do it all the way. So we're going to connect with 5 people every single day. Okay? And what Johnny was talking about, how did he get into Cody's circle of influence? He started by having a whole bunch of people give him social media credit, right? And now all of a sudden they're best friends and Johnny's amazing, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find 5 people strategically that we want to connect with every single day. If you want to be in Merwin's sphere of influence because he knows everybody in the world, send him a Facebook friend request, okay? Next thing we're going to do, next 5, we're going to interact with 5 people every day. An interaction is not like heart emoji, okay? An interaction is, I really like what you're doing. Have a conversation. What we're doing is we're replacing networking in real life with networking online. Okay? So we're going to interact 2 to 3 sentences, the same way you would interact if you were sitting next to somebody in real life. The next one, do this, don't argue with me, send 5 direct messages every single day. Now, if you're starting your direct message with, hey girl, hey, you're doing it wrong. If you're starting your message with, I can take you from 0 to 6 figures in 72 hours, you're doing it wrong, okay? We're just starting a conversation. The same way we did at lunch, right? Hey, I see that you're kicking butt in business. I'd like to be connected with you. I see that you guys had a birthday party this weekend. Where'd you get the cake from? Right? Just start a conversation with 5 people every single day. I promise you guys, I'm doing it. Promise you guys, if you follow that system, you will get more people connecting with you on Facebook. You'll get into more business connections. The exact same thing I did with Cody that I did with Tony Merwin. There is one secret that Johnny gave away. You guys want to know the secret?
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I'm not going to tell them. You know the secret. You guys want to hear the secret?
Yeah.
Clap if you want to hear the secret. Let me hear it. Okay, here it is. Don't tell anyone. Cody's team can be bought with candy and burritos, apparently. So always bring them treats.
Candy over burritos, but
Yes, I never show up to a conference without a treat for Cody's team. You guys, that stuff matters. It's the handwritten note of food, if you will. So keep that in mind as well. Now, at Surely, this is a brand new platform that was launched last Thursday, you guys. There's a paper on your desk, and it will explain what the focus of it is. But what we're doing, Brandon Tom is going to be up here in a little bit to talk to you guys as well. What he has created is a work-focused social media. I believe Jesse was saying, get out of the noise, right? Get off of YouTube, get out of everywhere. But we have questions, and we want to be able to jump into somewhere and say, hey, I have a question on this app, or Tony, what's one good way to start a conversation with somebody? And we want to ask questions. So what Brandon has created with the team is called EnsureLink, and is a work-focused social media. There's a couple really cool things about it that I want to highlight. One is if somebody's full of poop, you're going to be able to tell. Whereas on Facebook, Instagram, you can buy followers, you can feed people into groups, right? And you can come like you're somebody that's a big deal, but when you talk, it gets pushed down in groups. In our system, in your profile, it will show everybody every single question you've ever answered, every single question you've asked, and they're all organized. So you can go through and be like, well, it turns out Johnny's really not that smart. And you go through and look at all of his answers, right? That's one of my favorite features. So there's no way to buy any followers. There's no way to advertise on it. It is true, transparent social media specifically for insurance agents. Now, you guys have to use the link cody.insurasales.com because Cody's on the bottom end of the leaderboard right now, so we need everybody to get him to the top of the leaderboard.
boom. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Gebhardt, thank you. Aaron Johnson, I'm excited you're up here. We met earlier this year, or towards the end of last year, originally.
Last year.
Last year was originally SWAT.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. What have,
Yeah.
that's right. A couple of them now, yeah. What have you learned just being, I mean, because tell me about you first, because you've been around the industry for how long?
I'm pretty new, since like November of 2020, so
Okay.
I've been approached from a lot of people about the insurance industry. My background's in corporate, and I just kind of was like, I don't know. And so my cousin called me, and she's like, there's a SWAT event, you should become a life insurance agent. So I literally passed the test, booked a flight, and SWAT was 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And was around everybody talking about all the tips and tricks, and I had made a phone call. And so from there, I just started learning different things and kind of immersing myself in the business. But I do it part-time, and hopefully I'm growing to do it full-time.
Yeah, that's awesome. What type of success have you had so far? Because I feel like you've had.
Yeah, I have. I've had some success. I'm from California, so we were shut down for like 2 weeks, 2 years. 2 years.
Felt like 20.
2 years, not 2 weeks, yeah. 2 years, and because my IMO is in Dallas, Texas, door knocking and all that stuff, nobody's letting themselves into people's homes. And so I did a Zoom training. I did a webinar with like 30 people on, just talking about insurance, and from there, spun out different individual meetings, and then I created kind of like a Zoom method that we're utilizing right now, and that's been really well. So I'm just kind of learning how to do more virtual, be more easy, and really going after, believe it or not, I'm going after college students, because I was a college student, and I worked as an RA, which doesn't pay anything, and so this is something that hopefully I can have them do virtually in college and make a lot of money. So that's kind of like my goal.
That's cool. I like it. That's smart. Yeah. And what's the biggest thing you've learned over the last year and a half being in the industry and being to a bunch of events and just being around?
I came into here not wanting to recruit at all. I didn't want to do an agency. I was just going to be a solo producer. And so within the last year, definitely after 8% in Atlanta, I'm like, okay, I guess eventually the ultimate goal is to have an agency. And so I have a goal to start recruiting very shortly. So I think that's the biggest thing is the importance of this is not only just about you, it's about helping other people and to dream bigger. Probably the biggest thing.
Yes. As you dream, how big is this thing gonna get? What's the next 5 years look like for Raymond Johnson?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be a good yes. No, I've been actually doing a lot of different things. You know, I hope to have a successful agency. I'm hoping to have some more training going on for young students to streamline the process and doing our public speaking like Tony. Right?
Yes.
And just helping people. I mean, I want to have a private jet and all that stuff as well. But I want to have multiple streams of income
Come on now.
just to like
Right.
help get you to the top. So that's my goal.
I love it. That's
Marry
so
the kids
good.
too, hopefully.
Yes. There you go. What piece of advice, Chris? How many have been in the industry, let's say, less than 12 months? Okay. What advice would you give to those individuals? Yeah, Johnny's one of them.
I like what Jessie said a lot when she talked about what not to do. I think coming into corporate America, like I mean, a streamlined process, onboarding and everything, and the reality is you have to just do you. So I think just setting aside time, really just cranking through it. On the days that you feel frustrated, take a step back. Like people can pick up on your energy through a phone conversation and through a Zoom. So if it's a bad day, reschedule if you need to, or have somebody else do it. You know, because they buy from you because they like you. And so my best piece of advice is to probably be yourself, but also be honest with yourself too. There are gonna be hard days, there are gonna be tough days, but every day you have a choice to wake up and either have a good day or a bad day. So just choose wisely and choose you. And you know, rock on. I think that's probably the best thing is just keep plugging through, but also be true to you and just know that days are gonna suck and it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Aaron Johnson. Let's also stand and give an amazing round of applause for our panel, Aaron, Sandra, and Johnny. And we'll get to our next speaker right after this short video.
We're here at 8% Dallas, and you know this last 2 days has been so inspirational in who has been around here and what sort of motivation I've been getting, the content, the people, the energy. Cody, you've brought energy that nobody's been able to create. You brought people from all over the industry to share their wealth of knowledge, to give us experiences, to share tips. Honestly, this is my first, and it won't be my last. I'm looking forward to next year already. I'm looking forward to being on the stage, and you know, there's been coaching, there's been training, there's been camaraderie, and I can't imagine this being any better in all honesty. If you're on the fence on coming, if you're a new agent, if you're an experienced agent, if you're ready to take your insurance business or career to the next level, this honestly is something that you can't miss. It's an investment in yourself, it's an investment in your business, and the association and motivation and knowledge that you're able to take is invaluable. So if you're on the fence, we'll see you next year.
Yes, we will. He said in that video, he talked about energy, right? How's the energy been today? There's so many industry events that are just can be flipping boring. Like our industry, the average age is 59. Most events it's like, you know, there's no music, we got like an organ in the corner, like it's just boring stuff. Like we need to liven it up a little bit, right? Have some fun. Insurance does not have to suck and be boring. It can be sexy, it can be fun. Like you want to attract millennials to the space? You want to attract millennials to your team? You want to find the next Johnny Nittefin? And Oregon ain't gonna do it. No music ain't gonna do it, right? Boring speakers ain't gonna do it. Dude, it's like you gotta get around people like Thomas Roberts that walk in a mastermind and just light that place up, like it lights on fire. Okay, right? All right, stand up. Let's give it up for our next speaker. Okay, before I bring him up, I want to also too. Have you noticed that you've done a bunch of squats today, up and down, right? Some of you needed it, right? I need it. Some of you maybe to go to the gym this morning like Matt and I did, but hey, we're going to the gym all day together, right? Also helps energy, helps focus, right, etc. Our next speaker came into my life, I mean, really like 8-9 years ago, but he's really, we've been doing a lot more together the last, I don't know how long, man. Not really a year, but like 7 months or so, 7-8 months. We're acquiring P&C agencies around the industry. He's saving money on my taxes. Like the dude, when I say intelligence and IQ and ridiculously smart, there'll be a picture of him in the dictionary, okay, guaranteed, right? So as we welcome one of my business partners from F2 Financial Freedom all the way from St. Louis to LA, please give it up for Matt
Thank you very much, Cody. Thank you guys for being here. And thanks to a lot of times we overlook the team, but I just want to say thanks to Cody's team. I run a inner city charity. We go and we teach them how to bow hunt, and then we take them for 2 or 3 days out, and we take them hunting actually. And one of the mottos that we started with Kuvernal was take your step. And let's see if this works. And so when we started with Kuvernal, take your step, it was really about these kids. When, I convinced 15 inner city kids to let me take them bow hunting out in the woods with some white guy that they didn't even know. And so today I just want to encourage you guys, you're going to hear a lot of ideas, you're going to hear a lot of different things. Take 1 or 2 of them and just take a step and try them. Whether it's, thank goodness all these great speakers are after me, and at least I'm after lunch. So I didn't have to compete with them. But I just encourage you to take your step, take whatever step it might be that is best for you, and I think you'll be led to that. No problem. A lot of times people ask me what I do, and it's terrible because I don't really know how to answer that. But it really occurred to me, does anyone remember what number 4 was on Cody's list today? Pay to solve problems. It occurred to me that's basically what I get paid to do, is I get paid to solve problems. A lot of times I hate having to go into a situation and tell people, hey, I do financial planning, or I sell Medicare, or I do this. I like to go with value and how can we solve a problem that they have. What's the number? Who wants to get in front of business owners here? A lot of people. Who would like to get in front of business owners so they could sell Medicare or health insurance and didn't realize that maybe business owners could get you there? So from a problem-solving standpoint, what's the number 1 problem that business owners typically have financially? Taxes. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about taxes and how I think you can get in front of any business owner that you want to through taxes. And I'm going to show you basically the only question I ask and then some of the points I go through to get in front of them. And I think by the end of it, you're going to you're going to be like, this can't be true, but I'll kind of go through some of that as well. This is the only question I ask somebody first off, is are you paying more than $40,000 in taxes? Because that basically pre-qualifies them right away. There's a very specific trust that even attorneys, CPAs, even estate planning attorneys don't know about. Cody's attorney in particular, I talked with yesterday, and his literal words out of his mouth were, I've done estate planning for 12 years. I know all the top estate planning attorneys. Why don't I know about this? And I just simply said, because you don't know Matt Evans. He didn't really think that was funny. And so what this trust does is called a spendthrift trust. And it doesn't matter. You could tell everybody what the trust is because nobody knows how to set it up the exact way it needs to be set up to accomplish what you want it to accomplish. Well, what if you could show, first of all, it's 100% creditor protection. It cannot be, no one can get through it, no one can get to it. No one can get to any asset inside this trust. Well, what are people really interested in? Taxes. What if you could show someone how to reduce their income taxes by 90%? And that's That's literally all you have to ask. What if I could reduce your income taxes by 90%? What's going on right now with the housing market? What do people want to do? They want to sell, right? Well, what don't they want to do?
Exactly.
And they don't want to have to buy, right? Because they're worried the market's at the high. So we had a guy come to us, he has $2 million in capital gains on 2 properties he wants to sell. And he didn't want to sell because they didn't want to pay the capital gains. And I said, well, why don't you have a Spendthrift trust? He's like, what's a Spendthrift trust? Why haven't I been told about this? They will pay no capital gains taxes. None. You defer them indefinitely. You're never going to get rid of the trust, ever. What about people that want to sell a business? What if they have rental income? AJ does PNC, so does, I don't know where she is, someone else in here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You could always go to them and say, hey, I want to quote your PNC. Well, what if you could show them how to not to pay taxes on rental income on every single door? Because then you're just going to tell them they're going to write all their PNC with you. Because you're going to save them hundreds of thousands of dollars. No taxes on anything, no passive income, so K1 income, any of that. And in the end, we show them they're still the trustee, they're the dictator, they control everything. The last line, besides going into particulars, and we can give you case laws and we can give you the exact law. But what if I told you over 33 years, over hundreds of thousands of these taxes being done every single year, they have not even had a single audit. And it's not because the IRS doesn't see it, it's because they see how it's set up, they know the case law, and they know they can't touch it. So if you want to be able to get in front of business owners, and the nice part is too, they'll pay you 5% of what they charge. So the reason I say $40,000 or $50,000 is because they charge $50,000 for the business and the personal total tax return, total trust being set up together. So they'll pay you 5% of the $50,000 as the agent. $2,500. And so do you think you could get in front of business owners that are paying taxes with this?
Yes.
I made a post and all I did was say, if you're doing cost segregation or you're depreciating your assets, you're doing it the wrong way. And you know what I got. DMs, like, what are you talking about? Some people were like, I want to know more. Some people were like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, well, prove me wrong. That's what I love is like, we're not afraid to talk to any CPA, any attorney, because it's law, it's not opinion. And so someone always says, what's the downside? The only downside is this. What if the IRS comes and changes the law? Over the course of history, anytime the IRS has changed the law, what's happened? Grandfather. So then your grandfather, and all those people you haven't talked to, from that point forward, you're going to wish you had. So I challenge people everybody knows 2 business owners that they've always wanted to be in front of, but they didn't know how to. I think this solves your problem. I've probably gotten in front of 10 people that make over $1 million in the last 2 weeks just by asking this question. And from all this, what does everything you want come? Who wants to sell life insurance? Woo! So if you save them 200 grand, you think you can talk them to put 30 grand into an IUL or a whole life or whatever else you want to do? Absolutely. And what are they going to do? They're going to go tell every single one of their friends. The rest of the talk, I'm going to kind of go over. I'm going to go over ideas, but not as in depth as this. And at the end, there'll be all my contact info. If you want more information, if you want to know how you can learn more or get more information, or if you want to talk, typically what people do is they'll bring a business owner. We'll get on a Zoom with them and just talk through it. It's really just talking to them about their individual situation. I've never had a go bad. I'm gonna hit on a couple ideas before my time's up. And if you want more on any of these ideas, my info at the end, just let me know. The Champ Plan, if they have more than 5 employees and you want to save them $573 per employee, and you can increase the employee's paycheck by $125, the Champ Plan, if you have any health insurance, if you have any commercial leads at all, is a no-brainer. I always say taxes, if you can control taxes, you control everything. It's all done because you decrease the employee's taxable income by $14,400. And from that, that's how they save the 573 and they make the 125. So if you have any health clients at all, you should look at the Champ Plan. Banks and credit unions, I talk about it every time. Banks and credit unions are a cash cow. We're about to close probably next month on an $800 million bank that's going to come and have us do all their financial services, all of their Medicare, all their P&C, everything. Once you get into a bank on the fee-based side, you get into the bank because of fee-based financial planning. And the reason that is because that's where I can pay them legally a percentage of the revenue. I can't pay them legally on Medicare, P&C, life. I can pay them without anyone being registered on fee-based. And you're saying, well, I'm not fee-based. Well, just get a bank. I'll get you in there, and you can then decide if you want to go get registered. If you don't want to get registered, fine. We'll find someone. They'll start an LLC with you, and then you can participate in some of the revenue. Solicitors agreements. If you have any clients in states that are solicitor agreement states, that just means you're able to participate in revenue without being licensed. Missouri, Georgia, Texas, Florida, Georgia. If you want to know about your specific state, unfortunately, California is not, I don't believe, a solicitor state. Imagine that. But it's amazing what a solicitor agreement can do. All I do is try and find ways to create revenue where people didn't know revenue was. I got about 3 more minutes here. This is something we're doing right now with Miles. Miles left, but Miles is someone that we came and we found a P&C agency for. And Miles has only done P&C. And Miles wants to, as Jesse had said, keep your focus, right? Jesse is going to keep her focus, but what if I could put a P&C person in Jesse's agency under Jesse? What if I could put a financial planner in Jesse's agency under Jesse? Yeah. That's creating revenue. What did Brian Askins do? He has a focus on Medicare, right? But do you think he makes revenue from life, annuities, fee-based, all of that? Yes, and he has someone in there that does it. So we help people through Cody's network and just find people to plug in, and you are the team leader, and they come under you, and you share revenue. So you don't have to sell everything. I love this model just because you have the clients already. The clients are yours. They're going to listen to you. Just add one thing. Just take a step to add one thing. We do a lot on the fee-based financial planning side. Are there any financial planners in here? Registered? Perfect. All of you are prospects. You should all have a fee-based financial planner. I do have a P&C shop right now in LA that he has a huge book. He's looking for a financial planner, if you know one. He's looking for life, annuity, all of that. I have a pretty good prospect on the life and annuity side, but if you know a fee-based guy, a Medicare person, they're looking. He wants someone right now. He has a huge book. He just acquired another book. So if you know of anybody, especially on the fee-based or on the Medicare side, I'd appreciate you guys letting me know. What's that?
I am one.
You are me then. All right, done. I want to end with, first, I just appreciate your time and your attention. I know it's a Saturday, and I know it's getting late, but there's a lot of great speakers coming up. when I talked earlier, I talked about Kuvnal and kind of the bow hunting and what these kids did. And I just kind of wanted to show you, they first started out, they were scared. They didn't want to, they didn't want to do it initially. And they just took a step and said, okay, I trust you. And we taught them for probably 3 or 4 months. Every Monday we'd go down to the city and teach them how to bow hunt. And this is kind of how it ended, and you can kind of see the response from someone.
Tonight, I just kind of feel like I kept hearing was confidence, right? There's a big difference when a person steps up to this line and they have confidence, right? So faith, watch this, says that I have confidence that what God started in me, He's going to bring it to pass, even though I can't see it. Even though I can't see it.
So this is all my information. I just encourage everyone that, you don't have to have Cody's stage. You can try and get up to Cody's stage, but good luck. I hope you can. But you can make a difference. It doesn't have to be this big, massive thing. It can be one person that you say one nice thing to. So thank you for your time.
All right, stay standing. I'm going to bring our next speaker immediately. This cat's been in industry for a long time. He has built massive, incredible telesales operations. He's the headline sponsor of 8% in Dallas. He has now founded and launched Insura Sales and Insura Link. Please welcome, whether he's in Florida or Texas, right now he's in LA, Mr. Brandon Todd.
All right, I gotta tell you, I've accomplished a lot in my career. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that today, but mostly today I want to pour value into you. So let me step down a little bit first of all, and I'm gonna share a little bit of the notes I've taken here, because I'm a student myself. No matter what you accomplish, you always can learn from other people. Who here is here for the first time paid for their ticket? You did. How much did you pay for this ticket? $250? Anyone pay different than that?
Yeah, 1,000.
$1,000? All right. So, $1,000, $1,000 bills. $1,000 bills. Now, Tony Merwin, I took some notes on this. I've known Tony a little bit. I'm getting to know him a lot better. And I've never seen anyone in the business better relationships than he is. If it didn't resonate with you, you're not ready to put a note in your head and find out what he did, because I want to learn from Tony, because the dude knows everybody. And this is a relationship business. Was Landon dropping bombs today? Yep. Was Landon dropping bombs? He gave it all up, didn't he? Did you know that you would get that value for $1,000? How much will that go in? Cody dropping his points, his bullet points. First of all, the mindset and the way he's developing as a speaker, I'm just amazed by it. But the bombs he was dropping, the 12 bullet points. Was it 12 or 8? 8 bullet points. I added 4 of my own. Look, there are people who go in, they get a white screen and the board say, here's the 3 things you need to be successful. They're all over YouTube, they're all over everything. This dude's dropping bombs from experience, and I can tell you everything he's saying is like from a grandmaster. He's like a sensei in the dojo, just dropping bombs. I'm serious, because I've built call centers up to 200 people, full-time employees, and what he's saying is exactly the dead on that I wish I would have known when I was getting started. I wish I would have known. Who else was I taking notes from? Johnny, 21 years old. Oh my goodness. Where were you? Where are you, man? Like, who are you gonna be? Who are you gonna be? You're seeing raw, pure talent. Raw, pure talent like you've never seen. This guy, he's gonna surpass what all of us have done. Because he's in the right place, he's doing the right things, and he's getting good mentors from the beginning, and there's nothing more important than admitting you don't know what you know while doing what you do know, and then finding the right people to help you along. He's found the right place, and because he's done that at 21 years old, sky's the limit. You know, Matt, 90% off your taxes forever? No, we're not interested. Hundreds of millions of dollars this guy will make. This guy will be a billionaire if he doesn't get on drugs and alcohol and screw his life up and do anything bad. He will be a billionaire. And he will save hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on taxes. Can you believe that? For $1,000. Who else? Sandra, 5 by 5 by 5. So simple. So simple. Can you do it? Can you do it every day? Day in, day out, from this point forward. Will you set aside the time in your day, every day, to commit? Either be on social media or not. I did for a long time. I'm paying a huge price now because I was writing the search engine thing, and then I wake up one day and things are falling on me. It's the social media stuff. I got to start from zero, right? You right now, if you want to be on social media, you're going to have to make it a goal. It doesn't have to be your overall things, but you're going to have to set a little time side by side. She gave you, from the trenches, from experience, exactly how to do it. And it's real simple, easy to remember, 5 by 5 by 5. Can you take some time aside to do it? There's people over here using it, it's just killing it, crushing it. All of our students do. For $1,000, $250, is it worth it? How much will you make over your career? The incremental difference, if you had it, It's a Wonderful Life, and you went back in time and didn't come to here, and you can see your life protected over time, doing you not. And if you did, what's the incremental difference of that? I bet you it's going to be in the millions of dollars for most people over time, for just a short investment. So, I mean, that's just a note. Self-promotion here. I'm Brandon Todd. I've done a lot of things. I was the first person to sell Medicare supplement insurance online, created the first Medicare telecenter, done a lot of things. I've built a patient advocacy company that helped people who couldn't afford to get over $1 billion in prescriptions. And I have screwed up my business more than anyone could ever imagine. I have done more things and I have failed more times. But as I see failure, my income keeps going up. My reach keeps coming up. My skill level keeps coming up. So, what I'm on a mission to do right now is to give away my life's work to every insurance agent in the country. I built a technology software platform for skills business. You're going to find it at insurasales.com. Every challenge that you're going to have, that I've had for the last 20 years, technology and everything else will be given to you. First, the first launch of that is Insuralink, which Sandra alludes to, which is a work-focused social media. Facebook is a great place to get prospects. LinkedIn is a great place to meet people. But guess what? There's a lot of Facebook and LinkedIn around that, right? There's Wall Street money, there's big money out there who they look at key performance indicators, they look at metrics to say, how much time are you taking away from people? Their whole job, and they have big data scientists, everyone else, trying to figure out how to suck your life away from you. Get you in, get you addicted, get you spending your time on social media. Now, the first 5 minutes a day you spend on social media, or the first hour a day, maybe if you're strategic about it, you're probably making some money, right? But if you go in and connect with people, they have figured out how to take you in and keep you sucked in there and keep you off the phone, keep you out of people's homes, keep you from doing the things that it takes to run your business. So what I think is important, and my whole life has been about making agents focus, taking away all the distractions that keep you from being your best self and being able to take advantage of the technologies and the things that can, instead of it distracting you, help you focus and build your business. And if we do it right, as you'll see as I launch further things down the road, as you see our technology platform, all of that, you'll see that technology can know what you need before you need it at the point of sale and give it to you in a scalable way forever. That's what we need technology for. So take out your phone, everyone here, because if you want to be in touch with me and you want to know what it is, take out your phone right now, launch a browser. Everybody here? Everyone taking orders real well? All right, type in Cody, C-O-D-Y .insurasales, INSURASALES.com. And I want you to sign up. You're going to follow me. I'm going to be on a lot of different social media. I'm just getting back started in social media. I'm going to do it in a big way. I'm going to be on every platform all the time forever. But if you want to meet me specifically, my team's going to be posting everything live from my sales floor, everything else, live coaching, live executive training, everything you're going to see. I'm going to be completely transparent. But if you want to interact with me personally, I'm going to do it on Shirley. And that's where you're going to get the insider information on everything we need to know. All right, so is everyone going to do that? I got everyone's commitment to stay in touch with us here because the magic will continue if we stay in touch and we don't get distracted, okay? All right, let's do it. All right, last in Denver, thank you again for Cody and Cody's team. By the way, I have never seen a more professional, fun team that is so confident and so professional as I have with Cody's team. You guys are great. Let's give it up for them. You ever know, like, you walk around, you walk into a room, and there's like that guy, and like he's just better than everyone, or you see a football team, or you see a room that there's someone that stands out. They're just a little bit better. They don't say it. They don't try to promote themselves. They just are. That's Cody's team right there. They're just better. So, all right. In Denver, I did a talk called "How to Sell for Scale Without the Hell," because it's a challenge in my life to figure out how to build a business for scale without it getting crazy and creepy. In our industry right now, we have a lot of the bigs coming in, the big money, the big corporatism, the big whatever, and they're trying to take these big principles and put it into our industry. Without talking a whole lot about that, mostly everyone's life is hell, and it's a big mess. I call it mass-produced incompetence. And we want to stay away from that. The answer to every one of our world's problems lies in the individual human being taking back their power from the big and becoming great human beings. Throughout history, every great thing that's happened, every overcoming of tyranny, every great breakthrough, everything that's ever happened came because some individual human being decided to be great and paid the price and was great and made other people around them great. And that's the movement I want to create. So I'm going to talk to you today. Do I have a marker up here anywhere?
It's on there, right behind.
There we go. There we go. Today I want to talk to you about how to reach and keep your potential. So, how many of you just getting started in the business? You over here? Okay. When I first got started in the business, no one in my school, no one of my teachers, no mentor, not even my father, who was my business partner, told me that I could become a multimillionaire. They didn't tell me I could be a millionaire. We thought like maybe someone could make $100,000 a year. And that was like, whoa, isn't that what movie stars make? I mean, I was literally came from just a small little world where there wasn't much opportunity, there wasn't much hope. I mean, we just didn't dream big where I came from. And so what I want to tell you right now is that your potential is drastically, and if I say 1,000 times, I'm not exaggerating, more than you probably think it is, even if you think it's high. Because people overestimate what they do in a day or a week or a month, but they million times underestimate what they can do in a decade or multiple decades in a lifetime. So I wanted to show you that, and I want to tell you the biggest threat to that. I call it the big, but if this is your potential timeline, this is the timeline of your potential over time, and that's normally how it goes. If you do everything right here, you're going to come up here. What most people will do is this. And I'm not nervous, I was actually like showing them. Yeah, a little bit. All right, so, I guess I'm nervous, you know? All right. So this is what most people end up doing. And this is the executive that makes $150K a year, whatever else. But this guy's potential from the time he started his career was actually to be here. Did he become less of that? To an extent, yes. Or did he get harvested? Did he get harvested by the big? The big will come in and tell you that they want you to think that your potential's small because they don't want you to know that you're a billionaire sitting here where you are, that you're a potential billionaire right now. All you need is the knowledge, the mindset, the disciplines, the behaviors to implement over a long period of time. And if you do those things like billionaires do, and if you look for that with that goal, that money will come. And if you don't believe me, at least think you're a 100 millionaire. If you don't believe that, at least think you're a decamillionaire. Because no one told me that I could be a decamillionaire, but I should have been a billionaire by now. And the reason why is because I didn't know that it was possible. So I didn't prepare early like he's going to do. He's my retirement account. He's going to sit here and say, when he's a billionaire, he's going, I heard your talk one day, and I'm going to take good care of you, old man. So this is the harvest. So I want you to know your potential. So first off, if you're just getting started in business, no matter where you are in the business, I got time. Know that what you're doing when you can make one single insurance sale. That skill to make one single insurance sale is probably the most valuable thing that happens in our entire economy. Does that make sense? The big will tell you they're just salesmen over there and they treat them like cattle running around. They're just customers running around. And everything implodes and evolves and runs in cycles and up and down and all that. But you being able to go out in the world, find someone, get focused attention, sit down and talk to them, and go through to the point, smoke out all the obstacles to get into a decision, help them get out of their own way, make the decision, process that through, and get a commission. I've been with the big guys, I've been with the CEOs, I've been with the VPs and all that. Most of them can't do that. Most of them have not ever talked to anyone in their career who were not paid to talk to them. So understand the value of who you are. Now there's some other things you're going to have to learn. So what I want you to do is I want you to adopt a mindset of how to sell for scale. So along this path of your potential, you're right here, you're one person. Pretty soon you're going to be 2 or 3 people. Then you're going to be 5. Then you're going to be 10, 20, 100, 500. If you can know exactly what you're doing right here into a system, I'm sharing with the agent today, it's something I've taught forever. A real simple system. Sandra has 5 by 5 by 5. I have a real system. If you're a salesperson, come in. You have one job. Get on the phone with a qualified prospect. And then once you're a qualified prospect with, or you're in a relationship with a conversation with a qualified prospect, you're done commuting to work. You're at work now, right? How long should it take to sell a policy? As long as it takes. You have certain things you want to do when you're in there with that customer. For me, it's win them over, do a fantastic discovery, find out all the opportunities and needs of this person, recommend a solution to it, go through the presentation, close the deal, talk to them about the future, do a lot of stick techniques to make sure they're going to stay with us forever, and also field referrals all in that time. So how quick can you get that done? That's the wrong question. The losers, the people who are good salespeople who fall out of this business, try to get it done quick. They don't want to waste their time. They want to go fast. They want to get in. Stay as long as you can. Get the job done. Do a good job. On average, in our business, it takes about an hour and a half. We've stayed 4 hours plenty of times. But if you do that day in and day out, that's how you make sales. So you get the presentation, you do a good job. Guess what else? You get the new presentation, do a good job. Now it's lunchtime. You've sold 2. Come back, do it again in the afternoon, you sell 4 a day. Times 5 days a week, that's 20 a week, times 50 weeks a year. That's 1,000 policies a year that you can sell, just real simply by taking about 30 minutes to get the good qualified conversation presentation, an hour and a half to close it. 4 times a day, forever. Now that's a simple model that when you hire your agent, can you tell him to replicate that process? Can you come in and teach your buddy instead of, I do this, I do that, let's go watch some YouTube, find out what this guy does and that guy does? No, this is a controlled system that we use day in, day out, forever, and I can teach that system. Then you need to know you have a lead flow that comes in. Everything can plug into that one simple system. And it's those kind of disciplines that'll help you go from here to here. When you get a buddy, now we're doing something together. Because here's what happens in most agencies. They get up to about the 5-person point and they start to fall apart. They try to grow and they keep coming back. They'll like literally come up and down here forever, right? Because the skill set it takes to go from 5 people to 10 people is a completely different skill set than it takes to go from 1 to 5. And when you get to 10 to 20, as you're building a business, now you need systems and processes and accounting people and all this other stuff. It's going to take another skill set. So if you start out here thinking everything like a product, not something to be done, but a product to be developed, just like everything grows and it has its own system, if you start looking at every aspect of your business, from your sales presentations to everything as something to be developed and grow, then when you hit these points, you're going to fly through because you started, y'all heard begin with the end in mind? You started doing the things that are scalable from the beginning. So that's the basic framework of how to scale a business. And it starts with keeping everything simple from the very beginning in a way that's replicatable, duplicatable, and staying and maintaining that discipline to that model that you can speak in a couple sentences forever. I'm going to tell a lot more about this. I have a breakout session at 8% Nation, and we're proud to be the title sponsors of it. Breakout session is going to be titled 8-Figure Agent Tells All, and y'all make sure to come to that. Come to Dallas. What's happening right now? I got to tell you, if you're live streaming, welcome, but get to 8% in Dallas. Get in the room, get in some room, because the energy you get when you're around people who are like-minded, who are sharing your same struggles. We didn't have this before. The energy you get around, everyone here is focused on their business. Everyone here wants to be great. And the answer to every problem in our world is that individual human beings becoming great. Get around other people who want to be great. Go to 8% in Dallas. Implement what you had. Don't make it complicated. God bless you. Be great.
Thank you, brother. Stu's accomplished a ton. He's poured into the community, and he's a big part of 8% this year. Thank you so much for your support. Grateful for you. Give it up for Brandon Todd one more time. All right. Our next speaker is going to talk about how to be a CEO and the mindset. He's made a ton of money this year. He has a massive heart. He cares about people. Love this dude. He's all the way from Boise, Idaho to LA. Please welcome to the stage, as he's about to drop the mic, phenomenal speaker, Mr. Darren Stubbs.
Thank you, everyone, for being here and making Cody. And boy, it's been a great conference. And thanks for those of you that are tuning in or if you're watching this video in the future. I'm basically going to cram a 1-hour workshop into a few minutes. So you definitely want to be an 8% Nation because my keynote speech there, we're going to have about 30 minutes into the workshop. But I appreciate what Brandon had to say. It's interesting because the first thing on my notes that I wrote was almost one of the last things that he just said, and that is to begin with the end in mind. And that comes from Steve Covey's book, 7 Highly Effective Habits. And it's very exciting in the insurance industry, depending on which IMO, if you're independent or you're with an organization, I know like where I'm at, We have a comp plan all written out, a promotion plan all written out, a business plan all written out, a lead system all written out, all the technology is already funded and paid for, you just kind of plug in and go. And I think it's really important that if you are choosing to do this, because you can take a production track, right? Be a producer, be a part-time producer or a full-time producer, or you can take the owner-builder track. And if you're gonna produce, man, then you gotta be, if you're gonna be a part-time producer, you have to be 100% committed during that part-time window. If you're gonna be a full-time producer, you have to be 100% committed. If you're gonna build, well, you're basically gonna become bipolar, right? Because one minute you're talking to customers and clients, and the next minute you're recruiting and training. And to do that, you have to really master your schedule. You know, Elon, how many hours a week does he have? 168. Cody's only got 168. You have 168. I have 168. If you're watching the video, you have 168 hours a week. So don't tell me you don't have the time, because that's BS. It's a matter of priority. It's about choosing what you're going to do. Now, I want to kind of talk first for new agents to set you up for success. And I kind of took my notes and truncated it down to much shorter, so I don't normally carry a little note with me when I speak. But since it's only been 15 minutes, we're going to hack it down a bit. But I want you to really take a look, and I appreciate the previous speaker's graph, but I want you to look at it from this point. This is time in years in the industry. How many time? This is your income in the industry, how much money you're making. Now, when you first get here, how big is your pipeline? 0. How many agents do you have? 0. How many applications have you taken? 0. Darren, I need to make money right now. Okay, well, fantastic. You want to be in the production. So this is their personal production income curve, okay? And this is dollar signs, how much money you're making, right? Because if you see a customer and a client right now, you're going to be making money pretty quickly. I apologize for missing part of, I told Cody, I said, Cody, I apologize if I have to miss a little bit of this morning's session, because I had a physician I've been waiting a couple weeks to get an appointment with. So when you got here during session 1, I ran upstairs to my room and I closed 6 applications for $8,143. Right? And what's great about that is I came from a social media post. You're not going to have that social proof in the beginning. It's going to take time to develop that. So I'm glad we have some great social media people here to help you with that. But this is that other curve. This is that long-term curve that's coming in, right? And so at some point, there's this intersection point. This is when the income that's coming in from your overrides and residuals, and this is personal production income, at some point, those lines are going to intersect. Because you can always make more money, right? But what's the one thing you can't get back? You can't get back any time. So you have to be able to say, okay, well, what do I need to do? I need to begin with the end in mind. I have to accept the fact that I'm going to change some habits, manage my calendar. I mean, you have to be fanatically committed to a non-negotiable calendar. And you need to learn that early. Otherwise, you're just not going to make it. Okay, I'm just not going to lie, you're not going to make it. You're going to get distracted. Or the other thing that I see people do is they do the multiple streams of income. And that's great after you're cash flowing in a massive basis. Write this down. Diversion equals delusion. If you are dirty, you're spinning plates. I got this business going. I got this business. I got all these businesses going. And you're bootstrapping all of them. You're going to go broke in every one of those businesses. There are very few people that can start 4 or 5 businesses all at once and make them all run. So my suggestion, if you're really going to take the insurance industry seriously, you're going to put your head down for the first couple of years. Accept the fact that there's going to be some hard work. Accept the fact that there's going to be some setback. Accept and embrace the fact some people are going to tell you no. In fact, when someone tells you no, you should fist pump and go, man, I'm succeeding, because that's exactly what Darren said was going to happen to me. Who's ever been hung up on? Who's had a no-show? Who's had someone use the F word at you and then hang up the phone on you? Me? It just bounces right off. You're like, okay, just go to the next one. Just turn the deck of cards. You're looking for the aces and base cards. So be careful about diversion as delusion, okay? And I suggest that you really take the owner-builder track and you really keep track of what the production is coming on your side and then what's coming in. And this point over here for me was about $20,000 a month. I set that little target. Okay, $20,000 a month. That took me a little less than 2 years to have $20,000 a month in residuals and overrides coming in. So when you have that money coming in, what does that give you? Choice. Ladies and gentlemen, which one is power? Is money power or is choice power? Choice is power. God bless you. Because when you're broke, what do you still have? The power to choose. Cogito ergo sum. I say it every time I speak. I think, therefore I am. I am going to do the business. I am going to succeed. And the best part is, I love this young man at 21. You know what you have that I didn't have when I was 21? A room full of mentors to teach you and show you. Brother, if I started at 21, I would be like, hundreds of millions, and not more. But you have to choose to decide. And the best thing is decide once. Just decide one time. I am going this direction. Understand you're going to get your butt kicked a little bit. You get knocked around. You ever heard Steve Harvey? I love Brother Steve. Who likes Steve Harvey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know, he gives that talk about jumping off a cliff and taking a leap of faith. Go to YouTube and watch it, because I don't have time to tell you. I don't want to spoil it for you. But the bottom line is you're going to get nicked up, dinged up, scraped up, bloodied up before your wings fully expanded and you soar like an eagle. Now, as you're doing this, I want you to keep track of your money, best practices in money. All right? Now, you can be a sole proprietor. That's great. I ended up incorporating and then doing a little subchapter S, or maybe different things. But I would recommend that you have like an operating account. All your money from all the carriers deposits in here. And you might have a payroll account. And you have like a personal account. And I have leads. And then I have events and entertainment. So all the money portion of my operating account, and I log into Chase Bank and I click and drag and move my money around. I run payroll for myself through like ADP payroll, and the money drops in my personal account. Got a wallet full of credit cards and debit cards. So if I'm going down picking up my dry cleaning, which one am I paying with? Personal, after-tax dollars. If you're going to go out and invest in leads, are you going to pay with pre-tax dollars or after-tax dollars? Pre-tax dollars. So that's the great thing about starting an insurance business. When you get into business, suddenly expenses you already have, you get to change how you pay for it. Pull up your cell phone. Prior to coming into business, how do you pay for that? Pre-tax or after-tax dollars? After-tax dollars if you're a job, employee person. That means a dollar is actually 70 cents. Well, now you're in the business, legitimately running a business, now you can pay with pre-tax dollars where a dollar equals a dollar. Your leads, your hotel bill, your meals, entertainment, overnight, your airline expenses, all that stuff. You want to have best practices and keep track of your money. Because if you don't, you start to make a lot of money. That three-letter acronym that scares the hell out of everyone might come knocking on your door. IRS. We don't need any of that. Now, something else that's interesting is, when you have setbacks, I've had people say, well, I don't know if the insurance industry is for me. Well, really, where are you going to go? To what? Well, I'm going to quit. Okay, quit with what? Well, I'm going to go get a job. Let's talk about jobs for a minute. We've all heard this one, right? What does job mean? Just over broke. But it also means a different one. Joyless, occupational bondage. Who's ever felt like that, right? You need a job, there's no joy. You have to do it because you got to pay the bills, but you feel like you're in bondage because someone above you has been there longer than you. See, I'm one of these people, I'm so unemployable, it's pathetic how unemployable it is. And I hope that for the few minutes I'm here today, as you're watching this video, that you look at this and you really take a deeper dive into what it is that we do in the insurance industry, because you will become unemployable. The thought of working for another man or woman repulses you. Because from in here, you have limitless value. I really appreciate Cody interviewing me on the podcast the other day. I think it's coming out either next Tuesday or Tuesday after next. But he asked me to tell my story. I used to live in a barn because we were so poor. My parents kept having more children. There was no place to live. So my older brother and I moved out to the barn. No joke, listen to the podcast, and all the stories are there. So someone can come up with this poor family living in the barn, educate myself, went through the mortgage industry and made millions of dollars, crashed and burned, find myself in bankruptcy court at 47 years old, starting over at 50, 51, and making millions again. Well, if I can do that, what can you do? Because who's had setbacks? Are you going to let that setback bury you or define you? Or are you going to choose to do something different? And I think that's something that's very, very important. Something else, too, that as you're looking at the insurance industry, everyone talks about return on investment, right? And that's something else. To get that mindset thing going, leads do not cost money. Leads pay money. You get the privilege to purchase leads with what kind of dollars? Pre-tax or after-tax dollars? Pre-tax dollars, where a dollar is a dollar. It's an arbitrage. I just changed a new agent, and she purchased what for us we call it a call-in lead, so a postcard. They call and punch the numbers, and you get a PDF of that. It's $20. $4,900 in premium, instant decision, 15 minutes, policy issued, paid, boom. I said, now, pay yourself first, back on the banking page. Because oftentimes when you're a new agent and you start to make money, what do? You spend it all. You just robbed every penny of your agency. If there was a publicly traded company and you was the CEO of your publicly traded company, took all the money out, what do they call that? Embezzlement. Where do you go? Prison. So you have to begin with the end in mind. Who wants to have a multi-million-dollar business? Okay, right? A multi-million agency. Well, you already have that. You just haven't built it yet. It's infancy. So pay yourself first. Go back to the money management page. I teach my people, look, if your goal is $500 a week, then you want to figure out how fast you can put $2,000 in your leads account. And every time you close a commission, you reimburse the leads account first, because that's the fuel that goes in the gas tank to keep your Ferrari running. Well, Darren, I have bills to pay. Great, go sell another policy. Don't rob yourself of next week's ability to invest to keep the machine moving. And that's something that's really important. So we got that ROI, return on investment. What is ROT? Return on time. Hey, God bless you for being here, because what are most people doing? Sitting around doing nothing. Someone mentioned something the other day about a TV show. I'm like, I don't even know what that is because I don't watch TV. I haven't had cable TV in, I don't know, 15 years. You have a little Netflix. Actually, I canceled Netflix because I just can't handle the politics. You have a little Amazon once in a while, late night, watch a little on YouTube from time to time. But the time is the one thing you can't get back. But the time is now to build your insurance agency. You got the average age of insurance agents is like late 50s, early 60s to die out. But now with Zoom, you can sit wherever your home license is and Zoom to a customer all across the country and get paid. My sweet girlfriend, Melanie, she's just amazing. Oh, you get to meet her. She's the most amazing woman and stunningly beautiful, humble, gracious, heart of gold, not an ounce of narcissism or entitlement in her. Wait till you meet her, you'll see. Oh my gosh, wow, she's amazing. About 3 months ago, she goes, honey, you love Catalina Island. I've been going for 30 years, mainly because I play trumpet and go to the jazz festival and do all this fun stuff. She goes, let's go for a month. I said, we can't go for a month. She goes, why not? And I thought about it. I have laptop, have Wi-Fi, have cell phone, let's do it. So we left April 30th, drove from Boise down to Long Beach, jumped on the boat, brought our electric bikes and all this stuff, and we stayed on the island for 32 days. I still made $56,000 sitting on the beach. And I drove a $600,000 annuity because of the way you look at the return on time and return on opportunity. You see, we need a little fire in the belly. In the last week, I've interviewed and hired an 18-year-old and an 82-year-old. They showed me a little fire in the belly. Hungry, humble, coachable, teachable, trainable, and then willing to surrender to the system and follow instructions. You know, I got a lot more, but I have like grand total of a couple seconds left. So I just want you to think about these couple of words. Let's put these away, because I'll keep reading. Tell me the difference between the word submit and surrender. You see, when you go to work for someone else, what are you doing? You're submitting. You're bound down. You're agreeing to let that person have sovereignty and control over your life. What does the word surrender imply? Choice. I get to choose. So how do you want to live your life? A life where you get to choose, or a life where you bow down and surrender to someone else? It's my goal for this few minutes that I visit with you today, that you can look at this opportunity in very broad strokes today, very broad strokes. I have a lot more time, 8% Nation. Definitely get yourself there. If you haven't got a ticket, just get a ticket. Well, Darren, I can't afford an airline ticket or a hotel. Yeah, I know. Get your ticket, make a commitment. Now let's go sell something to pay for the airline ticket and to pay for the hotel. Because if you don't surrender to the system and follow instructions, you're going to end up submitting to someone else, and they're going to control your life. And my goal for you is to help you to be able to control your life and live the best and highest life you can. Thank you very much.
It was so funny. He said he sold 8 cells, I don't know, who knows, right? 7 cells for $8 grand this morning. And then Brett plays Every Day I'm Hustling, like right on beat, right? I'm like, bro, that was good too, man. Okay. We'll give you credit. It wasn't Greg changing the PowerPoint, it was you. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing job. I love that. You know what's interesting is, I want you to think about your career. You can have a seat for a quick second, but I'll bring our next speaker in about 60 seconds, 90 seconds, okay, something like that. Here's what you're thinking about. What's the size of your current company? Like, because you're a business owner, you have revenue, you have expenses. What's the current size of your company?
Not enough.
Not enough, that's right. So true. What would doubling that number mean to you and your life and your business and family? Let's say you're making, I don't know. Somebody throw out a number, how much you're making per month. It ain't, maybe not Darren Stubbs money, but that's okay. Help me out.
7,000.
$7,000 a month, okay? So you're making $7,000 a month. What would it mean to you to get to 14? What would it mean for you to get to 21? What would it mean for you to get to 28? What would it mean for you to get to 280,000 a month? Because it's all possible. And you've heard numerous times today that getting in the room at 8% and how all of these speakers' networks started by showing up. They didn't all start out speaking either. They were just like you. They were sitting in a roadshow. They were sitting in an event. They were doing their thing. They were sitting at 8%. And we have numerous clients and speakers and testimonials of people, their companies have doubled, tripled, and 10x because they made the investment, they committed, and they got in the room. Okay, so we've invited you. I haven't reminded you as much this afternoon, but I want to take this moment to officially remind you and invite you that this is a taste, and it only gets better, and it only goes up from here. So give us a round of applause if you've enjoyed all the speakers so far today. And we've still got a couple more that are going to absolutely drop the mic. Now this next dude feeds off of energy as much as anybody I know. So I don't know about you, but I say we give him some energy, man. Because I can promise you, if he's better because you're better, then I would be glad that we were better because he were better, and we were better, and you were better, and you were better because we were better. Whatever that means. So please help me welcome a Medicare rock star. When it comes to telesales, selling over the phone, this cat has sold hundreds of millions of dollars of insurance entirely using just a phone. I'm not talking Zoom, I'm not talking door knocking, I'm talking a massive company that's worth a ton of money. And he's coming to us from Tampa, Florida, all the way to LA. Please welcome to the stage, the rock star himself, Greg.
Oh, wow. I believe something big is possible. And when I walk off that stage, when I'm done here, I believe that you're going to believe that something big is possible for you. See, anything that's ever been created in the world has first started in the mind. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He spoke it into existence. You know what? We can also speak things into existence as well. See, what happens in the mind a lot of times is that there's things that hold us back. I want to ask you, what's holding you back right now in your mind? Because you know what ends up happening is this, is that when you start taking the first step out, your mind now pushes you out of the comfort zone. You know what's going to end up happening, I guarantee it. There are people that are going to try to hold you back. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, don't let people hold you back. Because when you let people hold you back, the entire world is held back. I see posts all the time where people sit there and they make fun of Elon Musk. Oh, he just did this because the government gave him money. If he listened to what other people said, the entire world would be held back. We would not be the same world that we are today. So I'm telling you right now, don't let people hold you back. Who in here wants to know what it takes to be successful? Yes or no?
Yes.
So that question was given to me by an employee just recently. I was walking my call center and this employee stood up and said, "Hey Greg, let me ask you a question. What does it take to be a millionaire and be very successful?" I said, "You want to know?" "Yes, yes." "Do you want to know?" "Yes." "Come on." Here's what it takes to be very, very successful. You have to be the best at what you do. If you want to be absolutely successful in life, you have to be the very best at what you do. I then asked him this question. What is the most expensive piece of equipment in a restaurant? Let me ask you that question. What's the most expensive piece of equipment in a restaurant? The chef? Stove? The most expensive piece of equipment in the restaurant is the dishwasher. The dishwasher is responsible for sanitizing every single utensil, every single cup, every single plate. If something goes out, it can not only harm the individuals that are eating, but it will harm the reputation of that restaurant. And guess what? That restaurant can close because of bad reviews. What some people think of as the lowest position in the restaurant, the entry point into a restaurant, actually is the most important part. The little things in life actually matter that will push you forward. I then told this story. I read a story with George Foreman. And George Foreman said that one of his first jobs was a dishwasher. And as a dishwasher, what he made the commitment to do was this. He would be the best dishwasher in that entire restaurant. He would clean the plates and utensils faster than any other dishwasher in that restaurant. But he went a step further. He not only wanted to be the best dishwasher in that restaurant, he wanted to be the best dishwasher that ever had been in that restaurant or ever would be in that restaurant. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that mindset helped propel him to where he ended up being in life? Yes. So I told my agent, I said, be the dishwasher. And so now when I walk up and I say, how's the dishwasher doing today? Because that is the most important thing in life. See, I think what ends up happening sometimes is this, is that as kids, we sat in the back seat of the car, we said, Mommy and Daddy, are we there yet? I've got two kids, I got a 3-year-old and 6-year-old. As adults, what ends up happening? We're in control of the vehicle, but we're still asking ourselves the exact same question. Are we there yet? Because we hold ourselves back in our mind. So what I decided a long time ago is I wanted to be the very best salesperson on the planet. And every day I wake up to try to keep that going forward. So what I'm going to do today is this. I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that I think needs to happen in order to be successful in selling and in persuading other people. So I call them the 3 persuasive points. The first way to persuade somebody else to do something is this, is you have to focus on the problem. If you don't spend time with me, you can't know what my problem is. I took it so far that I wrote a book, Sell the Problem, Not the Solution. Because so many salespeople, if you're new to the industry, they try to sell the solution. They don't focus on the actual problem itself. So I want you to do this as you're writing it down. I want you to write down, what is your biggest problem right now? I want you to write that down. What's my biggest problem right now that I'm having? And I'm going to tell you something. I can tell each one of you what your problem is. Here's each one of your problem. It's also my problem. We believe that we shouldn't have any problems. And those limiting things allow us to be held back. Because when we're faced with problems, we think in our mind, we shouldn't have any problems. And that stops us from moving forward. We all have problems. All of us are hit every single day with problems, but the good ones decide to go ahead and go around and realize it's a part of life. We all have problems. None of us escape this life unscathed. So when you have a problem, when you're looking at a problem, it has to go hand in hand with the pain point. When you're selling over the phone, you're selling in person, you always have to attack the pain point. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating a book about objection, because I think that's one of the biggest things that holds a lot of salespeople back. They get hit with objection, they don't know how to respond to it. Has anybody in here, yes or no, been told that by a customer that they didn't have a problem? I don't have a problem. And they want to hang the phone up or quit the door. Yes. So how do you respond to that? Yes or no? Does everybody want to know how to respond to that? Be sure to write this down. So if somebody said, I don't have a problem, here's how I would respond to it. I hear you, Joe. Most people don't know they have a problem until they actually end up having a problem. So I don't want you to be one of those that have a problem. Let me ask you a question. And move on. See, what I've also done is this, is I've stated the word problem 3 times in that sentence. I hear you, Joe. Most people don't know they have a problem until they end up actually having a problem. And I don't want you to be one of those that have that problem. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what subliminally that's done? Each time that person has heard the word problem, what are they wanting? They want the solution. So I'm leading with the problem, not the actual solution. So when you hit roadblocks, you have to get off of the solution and go back to the problem. Go back to that pain point that that person is having. Number 2 is this, is that you have to pull people, not push people. See, what happens is this, is that when you push people, you get what? Resistance. When you pull people, you get relationships. So how do you pull somebody and not push them? Very, very easy. You have to be polite. Darren had just said, we've all heard somebody use a curse word at us on the phone. We've all heard somebody yell at us on the phone. And our instinct is to do what? Is to push back. You have to pull back. You have to pull them with you. Because being polite makes them feel what? Empowered, but it makes them feel special. So when somebody would push me, I would pull them. So the third thing is this. Third thing that you have to have in order to be able to persuade other people is you have to view every interaction that you are having with another human being when you're trying to sell them is that it is a performance. When I would talk to somebody over the phone, that person was the most important person in the entire world to me. And I've said this in previous things is this. When I'm on the phone talking directly to you, my wife does not matter to me anymore. What? My kids don't matter to me anymore. What? My dog doesn't matter to me anymore. What? Why? Why is that the case? Because I am performing for you. You are the most important person in my world. So if I'm making you the most important person in my world, I'm going to expect you to make me the most important person in your world. Now, when I hang up that phone, regardless of what happens to that, my wife becomes the most important person, my kids become the most important. those things become the most important person. But you have to view everything as a unique performance. And most people don't do that. And I know that because I listen to thousands of phone calls. Thanks for calling, Ben. You're not performing. We're here in Hollywood. Performance. So in Hollywood, when you end up going to an audition, they give you what, a script. Does that sound familiar in our business, having a script? So that script, they take that script and they make that unique to them. And here's something else. You have to make it a routine. See, the crazy thing about scripting is this, is that people think that I'm just going to go through a script, I'm going to kind of change things around. Well, guess what? When you start changing things around how you sell people, there's no way to measure what you're actually doing wrong. So I would have a process in place. When I talk to you, I had a process I had to follow. The first thing I had to do is I had to get your zip code. I had to find out where you live. That was the first thing. No matter what objection was coming my way, I had to block all that out. I would say the problem, objection, let me ask you a question, what's your zip code? I've got your address here. That was my first point of reference. And then I would have the second thing I had to do, the third thing, and I would never ever change. So if you listen to all my phone calls, every phone call started out the same, the middle was the same, and the end was the same. I viewed it as an assembly line, and you have to do that. In order to scale or to be successful in any type of business, you have to have an assembly line process. But you can't treat it like an assembly line. That person has to feel like that was tailored just to them. And that is how you become the best at actually what you do.
True.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end with this right here. It's probably one of the most powerful things going forward. But first, what I mean, if you like what you've heard so far, you enjoy what you've heard so far, be sure to end up following me. They're going to put that up on the screen right now. Is you can connect with me. I've got a YouTube channel, Medicare Rockstars on the right. I also have the book right there that you can scan, and you can also go ahead and get the book as well. And be sure to end up connecting with me, because there'll be a book that'll be coming out here shortly about objection. I've got an entire sales system that's coming out about objections that I think will end up helping so many individuals be better at their craft of sales. The last thing with performance is this. You have to be prepared. When your number is called, you have to step up. When your number is called, you have to step up. When she says yes or he says yes, it's time to step up. When you're in that delivery room, it's time to step up. When your number is called, you must step up. This quote by Napoleon Hill is so important. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Somebody thousands of years ago kept looking up at that moon and said, it's not possible to make it to the moon. Somebody one day said it's possible. Somebody said there's no way you can call somebody over a phone that's not wireless. Somebody said it's possible. So a year ago, I didn't really know Cody at all. I just recently heard about him. I did go up to 8% last year, but about a week or so before 8%, I went to another conference. And at that conference, there were some really good speakers there. I was able to get some photo ops with some of the speakers there. There's a particular speaker there. There was this football player. And this football player, I really enjoyed his talk. His talk was very motivating. It was great. He had so many successes, but he had so many, failures. And so when he got done with his speech, I went and got a photo op with him. And as I was leaving, because I was parked in the back, as I was leaving, I actually saw him getting ready to leave in his chauffeured car. So I walked up to him and asked him to take a picture with him. He said, yes, I took a picture with him. And I said, you know what? I said, one day you and I are going to do business together. I said, one day you and I are going to do business together. Tim Tebow. There's my post. Great talking to Tim Tebow. What an incredible individual. Look forward to hopefully working together in the future. Dated July 16, 2021. Whatever the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. And here we are in 2022, and I will be on the same stage as Tim Tebow. Are things possible? They're possible if you put your mind to it. Do you want to know a little about Tim Tebow? Kind of actually follow these steps right here. So I kept telling Cody, I said, you got a problem. You got a pain point. You need another speaker. You need another speaker there. You need somebody that's really, really recognizable. Everybody knows Ed Milet. People don't know Jerry Ed, so they're gonna love them when they see them in person. But you need somebody else to draw you. You got a pain point, Cody. You got a problem. Hey, what about Tim Tebow, by the way? He's a little too expensive. No, I know how much it costs for him. So we kind of started talking. Every time at the conferences, these road shows, I would actually kind of plug Tim Tebow. I would send him pictures. I would send him little things. I helped pull Cody. I didn't push him. Polite. Made Cody feel special. He didn't realize that I was selling him. So now it comes down in July 2022 in Dallas, Texas. It's time to perform. And when I step up on that stage, I'm going to be prepared. Because guess what? When my number is called, it's time to step up. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Boom, great for Vicky. And I like the Tebow thing. I didn't even realize he pretty much sold me Tim Tebow, I guess. Right? That's true. I'm like, dude, how awesome would it be to have Tim freaking Tebow? And we will, end of July in Dallas this year. Super excited about that. Our next speaker, I call him the $100 million man. His company did about $125 million in life insurance premium last year. I don't know if he's going to share this, but his first 2 years, he wanted to recruit, and he interviewed about 750 agents. And at the end of 2 years, only had one remaining. Interviewed 750, had one left. Now he's got an agency that will do 150, 200 million this year because he stayed consistent, he was persistent, he constantly got around the top people in his space. Please welcome from Atlanta, Georgia, one of my favorite people in the industry, Mr. John Michael. Let's go, J-Dub.
In case it wasn't clear, that one agent left was me. It wasn't an extra agent, it was me, yes.
I didn't know that until now.
Be clear, it was me. So I'm gonna go through and, all I can do is tell you how I've learned this industry and how I've navigated it and the lessons I've learned. So I'm gonna try to pass them along best I can. I was definitely broke when I started. I was 35 years old. I was doing accounting work at the time. And, I was always looking for a way to do better. I had 5 kids, my first on the way to 16. And being 35 and broke sucked. So if any of y'all there, I can relate. And I got introduced to the business. And in 2010, I got my license. And got leads for the first time. Like, you've been 3 months. How long did it take you to book your first appointment?
First day.
All right, took me 2 years. Right? Funny.
because I picked up the phone once, and it really only took me 30 minutes, depends how I worded it. I did slip it. But if it took till 2012, I ran my first appointment in 2012. Because I dialed for 30 minutes, and I was like, these leads suck, and I quit. And I went back to accounting. All right, I gave it no effort, literally nothing, 30 minutes. I drug that 30 minutes out for 2 years. I probably booked my first appointment in 30 minutes too, but I just drug it out. And, you know, at that stage, I was tired. I was tired of being broke, and I needed to find a way out. So I got back in mid-2012, started doing it. I was pretty mediocre. But my question to y'all, if you're struggling or if you're in a situation, Greg talked about it, the belief level. Do y'all believe that this is a way out for everybody, or do you think it's only for some of us? Right? And I know we know that, I know that, but it's like the people who are struggling, there's some of y'all struggling today. And then I was at a stage where even when I was doing well, I still wondered if it could sustain, if this would be my way out, if it long-term would work, you know? And what's funny is I do believe that's the first step. And it's funny seeing Maddox. Maddox was 9 months old when I started this. And he's just in the back playing video games. I tried to calm him down for a beer. And he's like, no, Ed. He's like, Mom. He's like, zero chance. But we decided to come to LA early, brought the family. And I do travel a lot, and I now like to bring them, so we kind of make family time, wrap around business time, and do both together. So we're looking at what to do. Max decides he wants to go to a Dodgers game. They played some team. Who's that team you didn't want to see?
The Guardians?
Yes. He was like, they suck. I want to see him play the Angels. I was like, okay, so that made us have to come a day early. So we're looking at tickets, and Maddox does not want to sit in the nosebleeds, right? He wants to be like behind the dugout. He wants to get access to people and players and see them. So we're looking at tickets and we're going through everything and knowing full well he's going to want a hoodie and a jersey and all kinds of stuff when he gets here. And with Maddox, I have to teach him different because he only knows us with money. The other kids grew up completely broke. So we have to teach him differently. So we're trying to teach him the value of the dollar, what it means. So I go and I look at tickets, they're like $800 a pop. Look at tickets, we're going to spend some stuff. I'm like, dude, this is going to be like 4 G's, right? And I say to him, I said, do you know how long it takes the average person to make $4 grand? And he goes, Dad, are we talking insurance or regular job? My man.
Yeah.
You know, but his belief level at 10 is more than some of y'all's, and you're in the industry. You know what I'm saying? He was like, it was like 4 hours, right? Like, no big deal. And I'm like, all right, well, you're gonna have to learn how to sell, dude. It's not that easy. You know, so now if you have that belief level, you know, everybody gave you tips and ideas and tricks and things you gotta do. And for me, this business became a lot about the little things. And I certainly teach doing more versus we worry about getting better. I don't know who said it earlier, someone said it earlier. And that's because that's what changed for me. And Steph and I were watching this movie last night on Netflix. Any of y'all seen that movie? I think it's called Hustler. Something like that.
Yeah.
Hustler.
Oh, yeah.
The basketball one with
Yeah.
what's the dude's name? Adam Sandler. Yeah. We saw I don't know 20 minutes and fell asleep. So we're still going. Probably gonna take us 3 nights to watch it. But we watched the beginning, and he's out like a scout for a professional basketball team, and he's out going to see the best prospects in the world, right? And they all have great attributes. They're all great athletes. They can all dunk. They can all shoot. They can all do these little things. And he has this list of names. And everyone he goes to, he looks at the little details that most people ignore. And he was like, this guy shows up just before practice starts and walks right out the door when it's done. And he crossed them off. This guy, when he's on the court and something negative happens, he gets frustrated and yells at the refs and crossed them off. You know what I mean? This guy, if the opponent gets in his head, he's weak and he crossed them off. And he's looking for these little details to find who's going to be their next draft pick. And that's how I found success in this thing, is continuing to do the small little things that very few people see, right? But what count the most to make it big. Because all of us are saying the same stuff, right? Get enough leads or clients, call enough of them, do enough work, make enough appointments, make good presentation, get people to like and trust you, solve a problem, they'll buy. It's not that complicated. You want to be able to teach someone to do that, wash, rinse, repeat a whole bunch. That's the business, right? But if you miss the little things, dude, that stuff adds up over years. And in the professional sports, they won't even pick you if you don't do those little attributes. So for me, it's like, could you be drafted if the insurance industry had a draft for professionals? You know what I mean? I heard, I think Joe Rogan said it. Like, he goes at his life as if there's a camera following him everywhere. And it's creating a documentary about his life, right? So if you could have that, just pretend you got a camera everywhere. Would you be proud of the work you put in as you're trying to accomplish the things you say you really want to accomplish? Or are we hoping they just fall out of the sky and hit us in the head? In my first 2 years, I was kind of hoping they hit me in the head. I was running very mediocre amount of appointments. I was going to trainings, and I'd be sitting here. You know, there's some people here taking notes, and there's some people messing around on Facebook, right? That's everywhere. That over time, that adds up. You know, and I had to realize how important the little details were, and that this was my only way out, because I saw other people on stages like this, and I was like, well, if they can do it, why can't I? Right? But I was looking for like a magic lead vendor, right? For the perfect script to close everyone. You know what I'm saying? The neighborhood that was the best for mortgage leads. You know what I'm saying? That was me. I was doing that. And it's like, imagine we're trying to work out and get in better shape. And we go, it's the equipment. They only had a different brand. I'd have bigger muscles. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, this gym. I bet another gym would get me ripped. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nonsense. But agents do that stuff all the time. Everywhere we go, I am Aloha. I'm like, you realize we all use the same carriers and the same leads and the same products, right? Certainly there's some systems behind some of them. But at the end of the day, if you don't follow, like, we have crazy successful people. We have people who write 1 app a year. Same system, same access, same people, same mentors, same everything. What's the difference? It's got to be them. So I had to look at this thing and go, it must be me. I must be doing something incorrectly. And I just realized I was looking through the wrong lens. I was trying to find the secret sauce. And the secret sauce I found out was more work, right? I had this person. I was doing a Q&A the other day on Zoom. And he says, I'm going through all this stuff. And some of you have seen how I talk about how to dial aggressively. This video, you can watch it if you want. I don't have time to go through it, but I'm going through this. And at the end, he goes, I made 88 dials. And only 5 picked up. And I said, dude, you have the only in the wrong spot. You only made 88 dials and 5 picked up. And he was like, damn. Like, he kind of took offense to it. I'm like, I mean, how long does it take you to call me, dude? 1 dial.
30 seconds.
So 88, 30 seconds. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, you working out? Like, okay. It was an hour and a half, dude, max. You know what I'm saying? But he was so frustrated at the result. And I'm like, I mean, what about the input, dude? What can you expect? If you put in 88 minutes somewhere else, or in your case, what you said 30 said 44 minutes. You know? And it's just a perspective. And for me, I was running at the time, I don't know, 10, 12 appointments a week. And my result was funny enough, someone mentioned making about $7,000 a month. That's probably where I was at the time. And I couldn't figure out how to get to that next level. I was looking for that skill set that took me from 7 to 15. But when I was working in accounting, I was commuting an hour and a half each way, working about 40 hours. And I was running 2 nights a week and Saturdays. And I was doing about 10, 12, 14 appointments a week. It was part-time gig. This was. And then when I quit the accounting job, I kept running 10, 12, 14 appointments a week. But then I called this full-time because it was my only deal. And I've learned a lot of insurance agents consider this full-time just because it's all they do. And for me, I had to challenge my thought process of how many hours I was actually working, right? And I started, there's 2 things that happened. I started to get a little bit more aggressive because I started looking at leads as what they are, as people, the families who need them. Like behind the scenes of a lead. And I always say, like, you know, and I've heard all the excuses, like why we don't dial enough. I didn't want to bother them. They said they already got it. You know, maybe they didn't fill it out. They're at work. I don't want to call too early. I don't want to call too late. All these things. I said all those things too. You know, but I always say, like, imagine if, I wish I could like take some kind of video, some kind of technology, one of y'all that are really good at it, and like take all the leads you have that you've just quit on and follow the people virtually, somehow, some way, like you could see it and see the disaster that would happen because you chose to not give them a life insurance policy and kind of how their life played out. You know what I mean? The negative things that happened to them and their family and their kids and things like this. Like if you could visualize that. And then imagine if they had a policy and you had a check and they just didn't know, for whatever reason, you had the check and they were about to lose their house. Would you worry how early you called them? If they just didn't pick up because you had a check. I mean, they're just about to lose it. Would you worry about how many times you called them? Would you care if they're at work or not? Never. You know, and it's like, so that means that worry, that thought, that concern, that's just a choice you're making to validate why you're not working, in my opinion. Does that make sense? And I had to get out of it. So I had to start looking at how I look at my 40 hours, because I told myself I was working full time. I said I started at whatever time and I ended at whatever time. I might have started dialing at 9 a.m. and finished at 9 p.m., but if I did 200 dials, that's not really 12 hours worth of work. And in my world, I've actually been timed on jobs. Anybody ever been timed on a job? No one's ever been timed on a job? Crazy, I've had that happen twice. So I loaded boxes in a warehouse into trucks, and I had to put so many boxes per hour in a truck. If I didn't put so many boxes per hour in a truck, I got trouble. I also got timed in a call center setting to where over the course of 8 hours, there was like a timer. When I was on the phone speaking to someone, one timer was running, called a green timer. And as soon as I hung up with that person, a red timer started. And if that red timer got too high at the end of 8 hours, I got in trouble. I had to be on the phone physically speaking to someone 90% of that 8 hours, or I got in trouble. If you get in trouble too many times, you get fired. That was the call center setting, and I was making $10 an hour to do it. Right before insurance. I was, I don't know, 32, 34 years old doing it. So I started looking at this very similar. And you guys can do this exercise if you want to write it down. You can do it now, you can do it later, however you want to do it. This is how I judged me. Use it if it works for you. If you hate it, ignore it. I looked at scheduled appointments. I'm sorry I write myself. I'm going to use Johnny for now. My number was always 30 a week. How many do you schedule? Is that what you think about that now, right?
Yeah.
30?
30 or 40.
Cool. If you schedule 30, how many are you going to sit?
20.
Perfect. That's my answer too. 20. I gave myself time, so write down how many you schedule and how many you sit currently. Give yourself 1 hour credit for everyone you sit. Is that fair? Average point? Okay. How many, I know you used to make $1,200, so you're not making it now, I assume.
No, just.
What's it take now? Roughly, ballpark. How many a week?
600 to 800.
Okay, cool. 800 will probably. You said 30 seconds, we're gonna say a minute, right? So dials. 1 minute per. How many hours would that be? 60, 120, 240, 13 hours. Okay? And then I did recruiting. As you heard, 750 over the course of 2 years. Mine are 20 minutes each. It's 3 an hour. My number was 30 a week. Okay? So recruiting, 30 a week. For me, that was 10 hours. So if you did sat 20, made $800, and did 30 recruiting calls a week, 20, 33, you're at 43 hours. Does that make sense? If you're not doing 30 recruiting hours right now, you, who everyone loves, you're doing great things, dude, it's 33 hours max. The average agent I talk to is like 10 or 15 here, 200 here. And if you add up your hours and own it, all the other stuff, to me, was overtime and education trying to get further in my career. That was on top of my 40 hours. It was like going to night school to get a better accounting degree. Does that make sense? And overtime, which I've been working since I was 16 to pay the bills. I had to do 40 hours, sit with people, talking to people, and recruiting people. And that became my 40 hours. That changed in 2015. My trajectory since 2015 has been off the charts. And that's all I changed. So I sucked in 2014. I chose in 2015 to start sucking more. And that's what allowed me to change everything about our family. So this is all I teach now. I can teach you how to get better with what you say, all that stuff, but they don't do it. If you just suck a whole bunch more, I'm telling you, you will trip over more policies, more applications, more money, more recruits, and this thing gets so easy with time. And then what happens? That skill set I so desired magically appeared because I did so many reps. Does that make sense? If you get around this is dope, this event, great people. This is like, I don't know, 10% of what's gonna be at 8%, maybe, people-wise. If y'all haven't signed up, you should. You're gonna be around amazing people, amazing speakers who are walking the walk every day. And you'll have access to people and relationships that you don't currently have. And for me, I was doing pretty well. And it's changed the course of our business already, just being around all the people I've been able to be around. So I appreciate everything you're doing, good. Thanks for your time, guys.
We're 2 hours removed from lunch. Okay, with these workshops, we go 3 hours, we go lunch, we go 3 hours. That's it, right? You think about that. Like, that's 2 3-hour sessions, easy to do. Okay, however, when you go through a session, you go through lunch, you go through a couple hours in the afternoon, after lunch, etc., right? You can start to slow down, you can start to bog down a little bit. I feel it, I see it, okay? We got 2 more speakers. I want to finish this thing super strong. Who still believes that they need to get to another level? Who still wants to get to another level? And who is going to get to another level? Okay, let's hear it real quick. I need it. Who needs it? I want to see what I need it. You need it? I need it. Say I need it. I want it. Then we're going to go prove it. I want it. I got it. If you need it, you want it, it's time to go get it. Okay? I need it. I want it. I got it. It's coming. It's happening. It's about to happen. And I ain't gonna stop till it happens. And the next speaker ain't either. She's a technology expert. She's all the way from Florida. Love what she's doing when it comes to technology and software. She's the queen. And she is brilliant. She's incredible. Please welcome the tech queen to LA. Juanita Coleman.
Jeremiah 29:11. My absolute favorite scripture. For those of you that don't know it, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, they're good and not of evil, plans to give you an expected end, depending on the version you read. Okay. What really sticks out to me about that scripture is, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, and plans to give you an expected end. You can sit down. I had to hold on to that scripture because days into being 15 years old, I'm going to take you on a journey. Days into being 15 years old, sitting in a Planned Parenthood center, the receptionist says to me, "Congratulations, you're pregnant." And she said it with, as if she was kind of mixing the cocktail full of judgment, disdain, topped off with some cherries of, "You done effed up now." And I felt in that moment judgment. I felt distraught. But most of all, what I felt was hopeless. I knew instinctually in that moment that my life would never be the same. And all my hopes and aspirations and dreams of being a neurosurgeon or being an R&B artist, taking over the world, that's what I wanted to do. Was one of the two. Neurosurgeon, be R&B artist. Very true extreme opposite, man. But I could dream, right? And in that moment, I knew that wouldn't happen. And I gathered my things up from the Planned Parenthood Center, and I head home. Because the very next thing on my agenda was to tell my parents that I was pregnant. And it was probably one of the toughest things that I've ever had to do. I had to tell my parents, who were currently going through a divorce. My mother's father, my grandfather, had just passed. And my brother, who had got a full ride to Juilliard, was in the ICU. He had just been hit by a semi-truck. So he was fighting for his life. And I had to be the one to go home and say, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm pregnant. And I knew in that moment that that was going to be a life-altering moment. So I went home and I went to sleep. This tells you the mindset that I was in. I went to sleep because I thought that if I go to sleep, I will wake up and this will have all been a dream. Can't possibly be. However, to my surprise, you guys probably already know this though, I woke up and I was just a couple more hours pregnant. And so I had to devise a plan. And I had to use some kind of strategy. So I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll wait till my mom goes to work. My dad, again, like I told you, they were getting a divorce. They were in the middle of getting a divorce. And I said, I'll wait till my mom goes to work and I'll call her and tell her. I grew up in a black, okay, so these ain't things you say in person, you know. And so I called my mom and I told her that I was pregnant. Mom, I'm pregnant. And I realized in that moment that my mom could teleport. Because I don't recall her hanging up the phone. I don't remember her saying anything. All I remember was she was in the driveway and the police was there. and I said, oh my, this got real. And so I walk outside, my mom's in the driveway, the police is there, and long story short, on that end, the police are called, and my boyfriend, he was 19, I was 15, he goes to jail for statutory rape. And so I'm carrying this guilt, but he's been thinking of me and he has a plan. So my mom is losing it. Again, her son, who had been accepted to Juilliard, who's the savior of the family, is in the ICU. She's going through a divorce. She's losing it. I can't take this. She goes to Texas for a couple of months. And my dad, he's working out of town, so he's not there. And my boyfriend just got locked up for statutory rape. I'm alone. But, I can never even tell this whole story without crying. But I'm gonna do it because I got makeup. God was thinking of me, and he had a plan. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise you. And so I'm alone, and I have time to sit in this, mess that I created, or so I thought. And so my mom leaves, she goes to Texas, I'm home alone, boyfriend's in jail, dad's gone working. They come back a few weeks later, they get together, and my dad sits me down. I've always been a daddy's girl. My dad sits me down and he says, if you do not have an abortion, the very next time that you will see me is in my casket. And so I have to make a decision. Do I have this child, or do I have a relationship with my dad? I have a child. God was still thinking of me, and he still had a plan. So I have this child because I am pregnant. I had to enroll in a school, because I'm still in school, obviously. I have to enroll in a school for pregnant girls. I couldn't go to a regular school anymore. I was always pretty academically advanced, but you couldn't go to a regular school. So I have to go to a school that's for teen moms. And so I enrolled in this school, and I remember when I got to the school, there was this pride, almost this unspoken pride about if you had the most children or whoever had the most government assistance, they was like the head in charge. And I was like, oh, no, yeah, I can do it. I can do it, Lord. This can't be my life. So I did my 9 months. I said, I can't come back here. And I did. And so that is when my life, some of it is different, but so that's when my life changed, is when I went to that school and I was like, this is what I don't want. This is not what I want. So I have my daughter. I go back to regular school now. And because I was academically always ahead of the curve, my senior year in high school, I had this OJT. How many of you know what OJT is? OJT is on-the-job training. It's where you can take a class for credit. I didn't have English 3, I didn't have English 4, I didn't have all those classes because I had already taken them. I was a child that went to summer school to take extra classes. So I had extracurricular activities, but I also did academic extracurricular activities. And so my senior year in high school, I had OJT. And so I was working in a call center. I got a job in a call center. And I had a child too. This is my daughter here. I have 3 girls, actually. And so this big picture here, I don't have any pictures of her small, like newborn, because that was just such a crazy time in my life. This is the youngest picture I have. This dress that I'm in, this is my wedding dress. Tells you my mindset, right? I'm in all black. But anywho, so I'm working in this call center, and I pick up a book called Blue Pumpkin. Blue Pumpkin was a user manual, was a piece of technology that powered the call center. So all the major call centers, your United Healthcares, your Facebooks, your all these major companies that have a massive call center likely know what this piece of technology is, or they're using it in their center. Well, it was a user manual sitting on a cubicle, and me being 16, probably 17 at the time, I pick up this book and I start to read it because I'm like, I gotta learn something else. I'm not in school, I've graduated, and or I'm about to graduate, and I don't think I'm going to college now because I got a child to take care of, so I gotta learn something. So I learned how to operate this piece of technology that was called Variant, and it changed the trajectory of my life. God was thinking of me, and he had a plan. And so I fell into the contact center industry. I fell into technology. Like many of you will say, you fell into insurance, but I will beg to differ, that he was thinking of you, and he had a plan. And so as I'm sitting here reading this book, and I'm learning everything that I could about technology and about this piece of technology that will power the contact center, one day the sister center, they had a sister center in Sunrise, Florida, it shuts down. And that's where the department that used this piece of technology was located. So I got my chance. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm, double dutching, I'm about to jump in. I'm like, so I go to my boss, I say, hey, I think I can I run the workforce management department? I know, it's down in Sunrise, and she's like, yeah, sure. And I'm paralyzed with fear at this point, because I'm like, oh, crap. I didn't expect, I didn't know she was gonna say yes. You know? I don't even know what I'm doing. I've never even done this. You know, I just read the book and have been on YouTube, you know? And so now I have this department to run, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But that didn't stop me. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna run this workforce management department. This was the piece of technology that I had learned about. And I ran the department. And about a year into the role, working in this organization, they got bought out by Fidelity. And so our office had to move to Minnesota, people who wanted to retain their job. Again, I'm a single mom. I'm not moving to Minnesota. So I lose my job. Start doing hair. I started doing kind of everything, you know, that I could do. I get married. I'm like, I don't know, my boyfriend is out of jail at this time. He has a record, so he can't get a job. You know, not one that, you know, would pay any bills. So I'm doing hair. I'm doing all these different things, and I'm like, oh man, I can't catch up, you know. And it dawned on me that he was thinking of me, and he still had a plan for me. And so while I had lost my job, what I did not lose was my skill set that I had acquired. And so I went on to apply for jobs at companies like United Healthcare, Liberty Medical, Walgreens, and I went on to run their workforce management departments and their call centers because this is a new skill that I had acquired, and I had a knack for it. I was really good at it. And I said, man, I have a skill set that really powers and can shift contact centers, that shifted organizations. And I mean massive organizations like the United Health, Fortune 50 and Fortune 500. And so that's what I went on to do. And then I went on and I moved over to the technology companies because I was so intrigued with the technology. And so technology is where I landed. And some would say, I fell into this industry. And I always hold on to Jeremiah 29 and 11 because I know that he was thinking about me, he's still thinking about me, and he still has a plan for me, like he has for you. And so you'll say, well, I fell into insurance. And I'll tell you that you did not fall into insurance. You did not fall into insurance. It was planned for you to be in insurance. So I went on to be known from a teen mom to a tech maven. I've spoken on all of these stages. I speak, I go around to tech conferences and expo floors, teaching people about technology, teaching organizations about their technology, how to implement, how to optimize and adopt technology in the organizations. That's what I do. I'm a technologist, okay? And so I go into organizations, and so I am known as the contact center whisperer, right? Because I help organizations build out contact centers. That's what I do. So I went from being a teen mom to a tech maven. The reason I am telling you this is because I've helped organizations like Google. I've helped companies like OptumRx, United Healthcare, major organizations, law firms, insurance firms, with their operations and their processes. And what I've learned across helping all of these different organizations, whether I worked in these organizations or I worked for these organizations, one of the things that I've learned is how they buy, implement, and adopt technology. I've learned a lot of things, but these are three core things that I learned was how they implement, buy, and adopt technology. And I won't go into them in depth because I'm out of time, I'm over time. But what I want to leave you with is there is a method to their madness. There is a method to their madness. And the three big things that you're going to want to know when it comes to implementing, buying technology in your organization are these three things. Compliance. Is the technology compliant? What does that even mean, Juanita? How can you have non-compliant technology? I can tell you, you can. okay? Is it reliable? Okay, many of you are talking about how you're making all of these dials, and sometimes I'm sure you're getting delayed, you're getting this delay on the line. That's because of reliability. And then scale, whether it's just you today and you have a desire to 2 years or 5 years down the road, build out an agency, that's scale. Your technology needs to be able to handle that. So when we talk about compliance, reliability, and scale, these are the factors that your Fortune 50 and your Fortune 500 companies are looking at when it comes to their technology. So what I want to leave you with is a couple things. You did not fall into insurance. Let me hear you say that. I did not fall into insurance. But he was thinking of me and he had a plan.
He was thinking he had a plan.
That is so true. So you have to come out swinging. And like my dad, when he told me, if you don't have an abortion, the next time you'll see me is in my casket, it gave me something and I came out swinging. I knew that I would graduate, top of my class. I knew that I would change my life, but I had to do something about it. And that's what you have to do. Find your thing, focus, follow through, and finish. And I promise you, your life will never be the same. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Juanita Coley. She'll be leading a tech panel at 8%. Our last speaker today is about to come out right now. Okay, when I say the last speaker, we're saving it for last for a reason. Phenomenal storyteller, one of the best speakers in the entire industry, created Life Insurance Academy, which now gets around 30,000 downloads a month and is being listened to all over the world. We were just in Cabo at his Power Producers in Paradise conference. His wife Rose is on the back row center. His daughter Ashlyn is right there on the back row center. They are from Louisville, Kentucky, and they are extremely good friends of mine. Please welcome to the stage in LA, one of my favorite people in the entire industry, Mr. Roger Short.
Wow, what a great day today. I've loved every one of the speakers. I think I've learned something new today. I went up to people and I said, I am learning new things. I'm learning new things because there's like nuggets that get dropped that just hit you at the right time, right? Surrender or submit. That was my big one from Darren today. I told Darren I'm going to give him attribution to that for 30 days. After that's mine. And then if he doesn't write the book with that title, I will. So there you go. All right. It was 2011. I was one of the partners of a $62 million revenue-generating advertising company. There was 5 of us. We had a private equity group that was the senior partner. We had sold a majority position several years before. We had grown from 18 million to 62 million. I was doing better than I'd ever been doing in my life financially. We were in a very strong position. We had moved from Canada to the US to start that company back in 2001. And my wife and I and our 2 girls, and then our youngest at the time was about 5 or 6 years old, who's in the back with us today. She turned 17 on Tuesday. We're going to be celebrating her birthday together. We're spending a couple days out here. It was 2011, and I knew it was time for me to make a change because of some things that happened when the mortgage market crash took place and how the private equity firm stepped into our business and started taking over the culture of our company and focused on profits over people. I started to become disconnected with the purpose of that company that I was originally a partner in. And I knew it was time for me to look for something else. And I found myself finding out about this little industry called final expense. I didn't know what it was. Never heard of it. Didn't know what final expense was. Someone had to explain it to me. And I was like, okay, that makes sense that people would put money away for that. And I found out about a guy who was actually doing this across the river from Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I'm from, where my family's from, where I raised my girls. And I called him up and I said, hey, my name's Roger Short. I understand you do this. How do I get in your car for 2 days to watch what you do? Nobody was doing telesales at that time. And he said, I guess you can come over next week and just ride with me. I said, perfect. I'll be there on Monday. What time? He said, come over around 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Sat with him. He explained to me what he did for about an hour. And then we went to Quiznos Subs. I don't know if you remember Quiznos. We went to Quiznos, and everybody knew Quiznos. Everybody in Quiznos knew who he was. Hey, Fred, how you doing? Great. And we got in the car, we drove out in this 2-door Malibu, and we did 4 counties in one day, and we just visited older people and knocked on their doors. And I had no clue what we were doing. I'm like, do you have any appointments? Like, when do you set up? Where's your office? And because, see, in our company, in my business, everybody came in on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. We had our sales meeting at 8:30. Everyone was on the floor in the bullpen. They were making dials. We were on the phones all day. They were setting up 20 appointments with business owners. We dressed like this. We went out to see business owners. You know, we would take them to play golf. We would take them Christmas baskets. We would wine them and dine them. We would take them for dinner. And we would develop relationships with them, and we would sell them $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 advertising packages, some of them $120,000 a year advertising packages, and some more. And so we were driving around visiting older people in their homes. Miss Thelma, right? Mr. George. And he called everybody Mr. and then their first name. I didn't understand that either, but I guess it was a Southern thing, and so that's what I started doing. Mr. George. George was his first name, not his last name. How are you? And he would knock on the door. Yeah, I got some information. Showed him this pink card that talked about supplementing your government benefits of $255. And I got some information in the car. I'll go get it. I'll be right back. He came back. He said, thanks for having me for a few minutes. He would do this. It wasn't raining. There was no mud. It was just concrete. He was doing this. Thanks for having me. I was watching everything he was doing, and we'd go and sit down with people. It was about 2 o'clock that afternoon. We hadn't sold a thing. So at 2 o'clock, the sun was coming out. We were in a little town called Belonia, Indiana. In this small little town, and we were in a mobile home trailer park with double wides. They weren't the regular ones, they were the big ones. So it was like a deluxe mobile home trailer park. And we pulled up to this really quaint home. There was flower boxes on the windows with flowers. There was painted signs, welcome to the home, welcome to our home. And Tom and Becky Williamson, the name was there by the door. And everything was painted so nice. You could tell they'd been there, had a deck on the front, and it was beautiful trees. And we went and knocked on the door, and in went Fred, and I went in as well. Fred was sitting here, Mr. Williamson was sitting here, and I sat here. And Fred was talking to him about why he filled out a card requesting some information about burial plans and final expense planning. And he said, well, as we got into the conversation, he said, well, my wife passed away last year. And my son said, Dad, that just called me recently and said, Dad, you probably need to get some insurance, because if you don't get some insurance, we're going to have to figure out how to pay for yours as well, and we're still paying for Mom's. And the whole time they were having the conversation, right here on the table, Fred was here, Mr. Williamson was here, I was here, and right here on the table was a laminated obituary from the local newspaper with her picture in it, still sitting on the table. Fred didn't notice it, he didn't address it, but I could see it. His wife had passed away a year ago, and the obituary was sitting on the table. You think he loved his wife? You think she mattered to him? Right? Do you think he valued family? And Tom sat there that day and said, I guess I need some coverage. And he looked to us, and Fred talked a little bit, and I could see him get emotional. I could see Tom get emotional, Tom Williamson. And he talked about his 2 boys, and we said, who's going to be the beneficiaries? And Fred walked through an American Amicable Life brochure. Literally, that's what he used for the presentation. We still use that company today as one of our main carriers, by the way. Great people over there. And he walked through that presentation, and when we got done, Fred wrote him up a policy for like $10,000 or $12,000. I don't remember exact face amount. I think it was $10,000. It was like $48 or something like that, $49 or something a month. He was great help. And when he got up to say goodbye, Fred was very kind of upright, non-emotional. He was a very kind of factual guy. He goes, well, thanks, Mr. Williamson. He stuck out his hand. And when he did, this man kind of gripped his hand, and he gripped tight. And when he did, he pulled him in close, and he leaned in and gave Fred a hug. And when he did, he held on a little bit longer than Fred wanted to. You know how when someone hugs you for a little longer, you're ready to go, and they're not? And you kind of get in this awkward place, right? Right? He held on a little longer, and he said, thank you so much, Mr. Fred, for helping me. My boys will be happy. And when he said that, I could see a little tear in his eye come down over his cheek. Just a little tear. No one said anything. Still, no one had mentioned the obituary. And we left, okay, no worries, in 2 weeks, you should get your policy in the mail when you do. Once you give me a call, and he kind of gave me next steps. All right, Roger, let's go. And Fred was on his way out the door doing his job. Walked out the door, and as I was walking back to the car, I had a little tear coming out of my eye. Because you see, for all those years leading up to that, we were in a transactional business selling advertising to business owners that seemed like, we want to make your phone ring, Mr. Advertiser, Mr. Plumber, Mr. Plastic Surgeon, Mr. Dentist, and this is how we can do it. We'll make your phone ring, we'll even do call tracking for you and set it up. Yes, there was need there from the business standpoint, but when we sat with Tom that day in his house, I saw the connection of sales to real internal need and then meeting someone's deepest emotional need that I hadn't seen in 10 years. And something clicked with me. We got home on Tuesday night, and Fred had written 3 or 4 policies, and it was $4,800 in premium. And I went home at 10:30 both nights, completely exhausted. I'm like, these guys are nuts. They started at 10 in the morning, they worked till 10 at night, and then I had another 45 minutes to drive home. And my wife said, why are you out so late? I said, people do different things to make money, and this is what Fred does, and it's not like my job, but I'm learning about it. And I said, I think you can do something with this business. For me, it touched an emotional chord. But also, what I saw that day was I saw Fred speak to somebody, identify what was important to them, speak to their internal need, discuss what the stakes were, the things that mattered to them, to him and his family, talk about what had happened. They were still paying for his wife's role. Talk about what would happen if he passed away without a benefit and what that would be like for his sons. Then presented an option and it gave him an easy way for him to make a decision to take care of that need. And I saw sales execution at its finest from a non-emotional guy by the name of Fred, touching an emotional guy by the name of Tom. But I saw a sales process that I had been implementing for years in my career since the age of 26. I respected it and I appreciated it. And what I liked about it even more was that it made a huge difference in his life and it moved Mr. Williamson to a better place. I saw sales being used to move someone to a better place. Do you guys know that sales at its finest, at its core, is persuasion? Would you agree? Sales is persuasion. Say that with me. Sales is persuasion. Say it again. Sales is persuasion. And I believe persuasion is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. When used properly, you see, I believe in the definition of ethical sales, ethical selling, and I believe this. I believe that ethical selling is a willing and desired exchange of value that moves people to a better place. You want to write that down. Ethical selling. This is what I believe we're called to do in this beautiful industry of insurance sales, to improve people's lives. Ethical selling is this: a willing and desired exchange of value that moves people to a better place. To a better place. A willing and desired exchange of value that moves people to a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, here on this beautiful Saturday in Los Angeles, is it Los Angeles County? Are we in Los Angeles County? In Los Angeles County, California, I commend you on being here today. My name is Roger Short. I'm the co-founder of Life Insurance Academy. I'm the president of Advanced Team Partners and National IMO in the insurance space, life, health, Medicare, all the options. And I've been in sales since the age of 26, 2 years after I married my beautiful bride of Rose. We're married for 30 years this year. I made my life's profession in this business of selling. I'm excited to be here with you today to share with you why I'm so excited and passionate about the fact that you're here learning how to make persuasion, this beautiful art, something that moves people to a better place. What's your name? John. We met last night, John. John, your calling in life is to move people to a better place with you, your skills, your products and services to move them to a better place. I believe too many people use sales to manipulate people in the wrong direction for their own gain. And I believe in calling people to a higher standard. How many of you have ever got an objection? Ever got an objection? How many people have ever heard, I want to think about it? Come on. How many people said, I got to talk to my daughter? I got to talk to my wife, because you're sitting in there doing a one-legged presentation, or you're on the phone doing a one-legged presentation. You should have never done that. Right? I think I might have seen Johnny do that. I don't know what age of that at one point. Did we have a one-legged at one point? We were talking to somebody and their spouse didn't show up to the call? right? You're like, and we're like 20 minutes in, I'm like, your spouse is not there, it's not gonna work, right? He's, I know, I'm trying. You know, like we've all done these things, right? We've all done these things. We've heard these objections. How many people believe that the objections are true? In the moment, they feel really true, don't they? Okay, well, I'll let you think about it. When can I get back with you? Guys, do you know that most of those things are not the real reasons why people don't buy? What are the real reasons why people don't buy? You see, in order for you to master your craft, you need to understand human behavior and the cognitive biases that are in people. And if you understand human behavior, the cognitive biases that we all have inside of ourselves, which exist inside of everyone else as well as human beings, we would know that there are certain things that we've got to address in order to help people to move them to that better place. And what is that? What are those things? What are those things? And I believe that there's really only 5 real reasons why people don't buy. 5. And that's it. And if we can overcome those, or if we can address those, I believe that we would become masters at our craft, and we would become top advisors in our industry, and the best at moving people to a better place. So today, I'm talking about the 5 real reasons, not 5 reasons, but the 5 real reasons why people don't buy. 5 real reasons why people don't buy. What do you think reason number 1 is? Number 1 reason is no trust. No trust. That's exactly right. No trust. If you have no trust with clients, they cannot move forward. How many people have heard before in every sales book ever, right? Our goal is to help people know, like, and trust us, right? You've heard this, know, like, and trust us. Trust is the preeminent piece that has to be solved in every conversation, whether you're on the phone doing telesales, if you're on a Zoom call, or if you're face-to-face sitting on a kitchen table, or if you're in the captain's chair, or if you're in a kitchen chair beside the captain's chair in Mr. Tom's living room. Because sometimes it's okay to let him sit in his rocker and you just pull up a kitchen chair beside him, right? That's okay too. So it doesn't matter where you are, you have to establish trust. And if we establish trust with people, we can move forward. We can move forward. I will say this, there's only really 2 ways that you can establish trust. I'm going to break this down into some fundamentals. Number 1 is with empathy. Empathy, and the second one is with authority. Empathy and authority. Empathy and authority. Empathy is the goal of understanding someone else's perspective. I use a little tool, I used it last year at 8%, I have them sitting on my desk. It's a little tuning fork. How many people have ever seen a tuning fork for a piano? You hit that tuning fork and it makes this beautiful noise. Ooh. Well, when you hit a key that it's supposed to be in harmony with, and it's not in harmony because the key is out of tune, and you hit that tuning fork and you hit the key, it makes a really awful resonance because the sound waves are not lined up. And it's like, whoa, 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 like it's not in harmony. It's in harmony when the tuner tunes that piano to where it comes into a beautiful sound. Both of them are in harmony. That means they're both on the same wavelength. Guys, your goal as a sales professional is to get on the same wavelength as your client. We call this attunement. Attunement. You need to be in tune with your clients, and how you do that is by asking good questions. And when you ask good questions, you can begin to demonstrate empathy because it allows you to take someone else's perspective. Empathy is demonstrated by understanding where someone is, and then helping them and seeing life from their eyes. It's not feeling bad for them like sympathy. Empathy is different. It's understanding their worldview. That day in that home, Mr. Tom was expressing to us his need for something based on his life experience and that encapsulated moment about his wife, Becky, who was on the obituary. They had years of their life together, and now he realized he had a need for his boys, and he wanted to do something different. And we were able to show empathy, even though Fred was a non-emotional person, very logical person, very factual person. He was still able to meet the need because we were demonstrating empathy. I had nothing to say, by the way, in that whole appointment. I said hello and goodbye. That was it. Second way we establish empathy or trust is by establishing authority. And authority comes from knowing your products. Greg said it up here. You have to be the best at what you do. Guys, don't confuse yourself with the 82 carriers that you have access to and get so excited that you're tripping over yourself, trying to learn about all the carriers and you can't figure it out. And you don't know which one to write because you don't understand the underwriting guidelines. Figure out 4 or 5 products and understand those 4 or 5 and get in the sweet spot because those 4 or 5 will probably cover 85% the cases that you're with. And if you get really good at those, you can become successful. On the other 15%, as Jesse said, you call somebody and say, I don't have the answer, and figure that out. But you can demonstrate authority by getting good. Well, John said it as well. John said, I take educating myself, learning after the fact, as extracurricular activities, like going to night school, so I can level up my skill. You have to invest in your authority as an agent. So if you're new in the room and you're understudied on your products, shame on you. Because you have plenty of time to work on that before you're in front of a lead or you're on the phone with a client. Empathy and authority. Secondly, I would say this. The second reason why people don't buy, the second real reason why people don't buy, what do you think? Anybody? Anybody want to try with me? No? No need. No need. No need is the other reason why people don't buy. People sometimes just don't need it. Sometimes people just don't need it. Or sometimes people don't think they need it. We know, in fact, that most people do need our products and services, right? But if they don't recognize it as a need, is it a real need? Right? We have to get them to that place. Don Miller, in his book, Building a Story Brand, and his subsequent books called Business Made Simple, paints the picture of the narrative that every person in every story, in every book ever written, in every movie ever shot, there's really only about 5 stories. And it is a character who has a problem. And that character who has a problem comes into a confrontation with the fact that something imminently bad is going to happen. And then they're presented with a guide. A guide comes along and helps them identify the problem and gives them some tools and tips and support and showing them what can happen if they solve it and what's going to happen if they don't solve it, and then gives us some tools and directions so when they take action, they can actually overcome the problem and have victory in the end. And this is every story ever written. If you guys remember the old movie Tommy Boy, right? That movie and Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, both of those movies, if you look at the narrative, are exactly the same. And for the people under 30, you don't know either of those movies really, so there's that. All right? So I just dated myself. So when you look at these concepts, there's really only a few principles. But when we look at the fact that we have these needs in our life, what are these needs? Number one, there's an external need. Most of us have an external need. I don't have insurance. It looks like it's obvious to us, right? But for the client, it's maybe not obvious. Right? I need to eat food. I'm hungry. I need to eat food. There's no food in our fridge. Therefore, I need to go buy food. That's an external need. It becomes internal when you open the fridge, you go, there's no food, and your parents are coming over with guests in an hour. All of a sudden, it's an internal need. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to look stupid in front of your family. That becomes an internal need. Now, it's not only about the hunger, it's about feeding the people that are coming. That's an internalized need. It's no longer just external, now it's internal. Do you see the difference? So for most clients and all of us at our level of needs, we have these 3 levels: external, and then number 2, internal, and then lastly, the last area of need is philosophical. Philosophical, good or bad. You know, right over wrong, right? So external, I don't have any insurance. Internal, I need insurance because if I don't cover this, my family is going to have a bill to pay, and I don't want them to pay for my funeral. I just bought a house and it's $280,000 in the mortgage, and if something happens to me, my wife and children won't have this home to live in that we just invested in if something happens to me, and I never want that to happen to them. I want to be a responsible person. I never want that to happen because I love my kids. That's an internal need. The last level of need is this philosophical. Good dads protect their families. Bad dads don't. Good people love their kids and make sure they're protected. Good moms protect their children. Bad moms don't. That's a philosophical thing. Do you see the right and wrong, the good and evil at the end? Guys, do you know where people take action on need? Do you think they take action on external, generally? Sometimes they do, right? Sometimes they do. I'm hungry, I need something to eat, I'll get something to eat. Right? Do you know where most people take action? It's on that second level, internal need. And it's up to you to get to that internal need on the phone. It's up to you to get to that internal need over the Zoom call. It's up to you to get to that internal need in the home. And so when someone says, I want to think about it, or I don't know if I need this, or when we say to them, now what were you thinking about when you responded online about getting coverage to protect you and your home, protect you and your family for your home, for your new home you bought? Well, I don't know, I was just looking for pricing. How many people have ever heard that before? I'm just waiting, how much does this cost? Right? Come on, Darren, has the team ever said that to you in training, Darren? Right? Right? We hear it all the time. I'm just looking, right? What are we touching there? There's definitely no internal need, right? And we say to them, what were you thinking about? Well, I just want to know how much this costs. I don't have any insurance. Guys, I want to tell you this. When they give you an answer, your follow-up answer to the first question is the most important question. And here's your follow-up question. When they give you an answer, well, tell me, and so when you re-ask that first question, by the way, what were you looking for? Well, I was just looking. Well, something triggered you, Darren, when you filled out that card. And I know it's important to you. I see that you've invested in your mortgage is for $280,000. You were looking for protection. You probably have some at work, but like most people, when you leave work, that stays at work. And so I know you probably are like most people, and you want to make sure your family is protected. Is that right? That's a leading question with a tie down at the end. Is that right? And they say yes. My next question is this. Why is that important to you? Can you write that one down? Why is that important to you? That question of why is that important to you guys will lead you to the internal need. Why is that important to you? When you ask, why is that important to you? You get to that second level of need, that internal need. Internal need. You see, sales is persuasion, and persuasion is a beautiful thing. And it's our job to create a willing and desired exchange of value to move people to a what? A better place. A better place. So we need to get to that internal need, whether it's on the phone, over the Zoom, or face-to-face, and have them say it. I want to get to number 3. Number 3 is, if we have no trust, no need, the third one is no want. We're going to call it no desire. I just like to call it no want. No want. Sometimes people need it, but they might not want it. How many people know that people generally buy more of what they want rather than what they need? Right? Do you know that the average American spends 118% of their annual income? 118%. How so? Credit cards, Christmas, I don't want to take the money from this, so we overextend. We buy things that we want rather than just the things that we need. We see that they have the iPhone 13. We see that they have a giant 85-inch screen on the wall. We see that they smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and they don't have any life insurance. Very good. Fantastic. You are a very well-planned individual, right? Great planning, right? They've invested in the things that they want, not what they need. And so it's up to us to get them to take ownership of that internal need. My friend and partner, Chris Ball, who's a partner with me in the Life Insurance Academy and in our insurance IMO, says this: a need once verbalized becomes a want. A need once verbalized becomes a want. What does that mean? When you can get your client, Johnny, to say the thing that they need, and they hear it with their own words, in their own ear, guess what it becomes? Something that they want. Because for the first time, they're verbalizing the thing that they need. Up till now, they've only ever thought it in their head, and they don't really want to let it out. Because when they let it out, it becomes something that they have to have. How many guys have ever gone to a men's store before, and you walk into the men's store, be honest with me, what's your name? Luis. You've gone to a men's store, you walk in the men's store, and as soon as you walk in, someone walks up, how can I help you, sir? Do you need some help? And your response almost all the time is, I'm just looking around. I'm just looking around. I could have given you $1 million. I would have bet you $1 million you were going to give me that answer, and you did, in fact, give me the answer that I was looking for. I'm just looking around. Because what happens the moment you say, I need a suit?
Well, they will try to sell me something, that I will feel pushed to buy.
You may feel pushed to buy, but in fact, did you go in there to buy a suit? You may have, right? Because you need a suit. You're going in to look for a suit, yet when they say, can I help you? No, I'm just looking, but in fact, you're looking for a suit. But the moment you say, I need a suit, they're actually going to help you get the thing that you said. And now you verbalize the thing that you want, and now it becomes something you need. And then at the end, you leave, thank you so much for helping me. I look like $1 million. This suit looks great. You're happy with them, right? With the service. Because they helped you get what you need. Help your clients verbalize that. So that I'm going back to the question, why is that important to you, Bailey? And Bailey, when you answer that question, you're going to tell me what it is that you want. You're going to tell me the need you have. It's going to come out of your mouth. And once you verbalize it, becomes something that you want. As soon as people verbalize the thing that they need, it becomes a want. Are you now selling them something? Or are you helping them get what they want. You're helping them now get what they want. So help them verbalize it. Don't forget this. It's human behavior. Again, sales is persuasion. And persuasion is a beautiful thing. And our goal is to create a desired and willing exchange of value that moves people to a better place. A better place. Next, 2 more to go and we'll be done. Number 4, no trust, no need, no want, no urgency. No urgency. So many agents will come into the business and they want to give a quote. So let me go ahead and give you some pricing. All right, so what do you want to do? You want to think about that? Okay, well, call me back. Right? They're not going to call you back. There's no urgency in your approach. There's no urgency in your process. Again, I'm going to go back to Don Miller. Don Miller says you have to give people an easy off-ramp to make a decision yes. An easy off-ramp. An easy off-ramp means you're not confusing them. It's very simple. You've addressed the stakes, because when you talk about the things that they want and the things that they need, it's important to talk about what's going to happen, as he said, if they don't take action and if they do take action. Mr. Thomas, Mr. Williamson, if you don't take action, you're going to be in the same situation with your sons as you are now, and they're going to have to pay for this. Is that something you want? No, it's not something I want. If it were to happen, how would that make you feel? Oh, you're making them talk about how it will make them feel. They're internalizing this, right? How does that make you feel? Is that what you want? No. Would you like me to help you solve that problem? Yes. Now we're helping them just get what they want. So we've created an opportunity here because they verbalized it. And when we get to this urgency part, we've created an easy off-ramp for them to get off and to say yes and to take action on your product or service. I will say this, that the idea of urgency is to address the stakes and then present a simple solution. That's really it. Address the stakes and then present a simple solution. Lastly, I'm going to give you one last one. What one's missing here, by the way, guys? If I took a survey about what most people don't buy, what do you think the number one answer always is? They can't afford it, which is always what? Money. It's about the money. But you know what? The money part is always the last piece. The money part is always the last piece. It's never the first piece. I will say this to you. You have to present value when you're presenting. You have to present value in your sales. You have to address the stakes. Help them identify what that is. Get them to verbalize it. And then present a solution that's affordable for them, that meets their budget, that allows them to take ownership of that thing that they need. And when you do that properly, the money very rarely becomes an issue. Yes, you still have to address affordability. Yes, you still have to talk about the draft date, especially if you're on Social Security or fixed income. You want to put it on the date they receive their Social Security in the bank. For people who are younger, it's not such a big problem. But you need to address finances, affordability, and when the payment goes in. These are all money issues. But when you address that properly and you've done your work here, the money is very rarely an issue. I will say this, if you do not provide value in this part of your presentation, if you're not providing value, I want you to write this down. Where there is no value, you can say this with me too. Where there is no value, there's no price low enough. Where there is no value, there is no price low enough. If you don't present value in everything you do, it doesn't matter what the price is. They're going to say, I want to think about it, because they don't want to be polite and say, no, it's too expensive. People generally don't say it's too expensive. You got to watch body language, and you got to understand. And so when you're presenting prices, I want you to think of 2 things. 2 words, really, is affordability. Obviously, that's the first one. The 2 A's of pricing, affordability. But the second one is a word called anchoring. Anchoring. And in sales, we have a cognitive bias to anchor things against other things that we don't understand, or we're looking for something as a benchmark. So when Cody says the price is $2,997 for a ticket to 8%, to get in the front, to meet speakers, to be backstage for the Q&A, you're trying to process what else in life that you would spend $3,000 on. It's a natural human behavior to go to look for something. What if I spend $3,000? I've never spent $3,000 on. I can't spend $3,000. It's just something I would never do. I mean, I think my college tuition 25 years ago was $3,000. Right? Your brain goes to all these things trying to process what you would spend money on for $3,000. So when you're presenting pricing to clients, it's going to be important that you anchor things and you contrast things with value. The price of a funeral, the price of a lost home, the benefit of $250,000 and the benefit for the client for as low as. And always present your highest priced option first. Why do we want to present the highest price option first? Because the first thing people hear becomes the anchor. It becomes the anchor. It becomes the benchmark that they measure everything else against. If you start out your presentation by continuing to talk about we have the most affordable pricing, we have the best plans, we have the lowest rates, and then you say $82 and they thought you were going to say $27, no matter what you do after that, everything's too expensive because you've been saying affordable, the lowest rates, the lowest price, we got the best plans, we got the best rates. If you keep saying those things, the benchmark becomes lowest. You've anchored against yourself in presenting value. Don't do that. Present value and present your highest price option first. Now, is your first option going to be overpriced? No. It needs to still be within their budget. It still needs to meet their needs. But always remember how the human mind works in the cognitive bias. And so anchoring with the presentation with that price first is important. Again, guys, our goal is to do what? It's to move people to a better place. Say this with me. Sales is persuasion. Persuasion is a beautiful thing. Our goal is to create a willing and desired exchange of value to move people to a better place. Do you see that with what you do for a living? So now I want to give you this, and I'll end with this. Cody Atkins got up here before lunch, and we talked about giving a little taste of 8%, just a little taste. And that's what today was. When I made the investment to go and take my team, our first year we invested $10,000 to take our team as we sponsored some of those events. I did not know what I was going to get in return, but I was willing to make the investment because I wanted to invest wisely. Had he earned my trust over time? Yes, he had. Have we shown you today that the value that you can get just from attending a small session today is trustworthy? Yeah? How many of you have felt stuck in your business and is looking to take your business to the next level and you're looking for some breakthrough moments? Raise your hands. Right? So we've identified a need. If I were to ask you, why is it important to you that you have a breakthrough in your business in 2022? The answers are going to be varied. For some of you, like, I'm finally close to the breakthrough I'm looking for. Too many people are counting on me. I have to do it because you're going to have an internal need associated with that. What I want to let you know is that today is the day that you make a decision. Because today, we're providing an easy off-ramp for you to take action on your goals to be in a place. You see, Cody doesn't pay me to be here. I flew out here with my wife and daughter on our dime to be here because I believe in this mission. I believe in this mission. I pay for my own hotel room, I pay for my own flights, I pay for my daughter's flight, I pay for my wife's flight. And you're thinking, why? Why would you do that? Because I know that some of you in this room is going to impact someone else's life, and their life will be changed forever, not just for their family, but generationally. Do you think John Wetmore has changed his life generationally forever? Do you think he's done that? Yes. Someone invited him to an event. I'm extending the invite to you. Will you commit to something where you can go and see a desired and willing exchange of value so that we can help move you to a better place? That's what I'm trying to communicate with you today. That's our goal. My goal is to help move you guys to a better place. And I will tell you, that last weekend of June, there's no other place in the planet, there's no other place in the country that I want to be. There's no other place that I want to be than to be there. My wife's saying something. In July. What did I say? June. July. This is the last week of June. In July. Guys, it's going to be one of the most incredible opportunities. You can get in for as low as how much, Cody?
10 grand, just like you.
There you go. What's the lowest price, Cody?
197.
197. You see, I anchored it with 10 grand, didn't I? Did I not? Is 197 now seem like an acceptable entry point for you to come to one of the best events in the country? It seems so absolutely low and ridiculous that you all have to take action, at least at that level. How many people are going to say, no, there's not enough value for 197 for the rest of my life? I will not get enough value. Put up your hand if you don't think there's enough value. Cody, I think they're all buying. They're all in. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see you then in July. Again, we are really excited to
You turn the mic on, then it works. Who's enjoyed today, man? You guys had some fun? You guys had some fun today? Had a good day? You enjoyed was it chocolate ice cream or was it cookies and cream? What did it end up being? Cookies and cream? I don't know, some of you like chocolate ice cream. Some of you cookie dough. Cookie dough is pretty good too, man. Cookie dough, chocolate chip cookie dough, sugar cookie dough, where it's really at, okay? Here's what I want to do. I want to pass the mic around. I want to give you a chance to speak, okay? Speak something into existence that you are going to be doing, accomplishing, and going out and taking away from this event and putting into action as soon as Monday, okay? You know, take Father's Day off tomorrow, but then Monday we're putting some stuff in action and we're working, we're doing it. So I want to know what you've taken away from this event. Before I jump to that, again, this is I'm going to do this. We're going to do a live drawing from the order forms to do upgrades, and we're gonna do that in 10 minutes. And Kelly, let's take 3 more. Okay, so we'll take 3 more in the next 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, we will do the drawing. Okay, and team, put a timer here for me. We have 10 minutes on here. Okay, in 10 minutes, we'll do a live drawing for the next 3 to take action that they can get involved in the drawing for a potential upgrade to Dallas. Who's already here? You're like, okay, dude, I love this. Energy's been phenomenal. Speaker's been phenomenal. I need to make sure I'm in Dallas. I got to figure it out. I'll be there. By show of hands, help me out. Okay, I'll be there. I need to be there. I should have been there before, but I didn't know about it. But I know now. So now I gotta go. Okay, good. Devin, while we're waiting for a few more for the upgrades, man, let's do this. Okay, let's see what action steps we're gonna take. Like, let's see what decisions were made. Let's see what action steps we're gonna take. Let's see what big time takeaways you guys have because of today's event. Also, we've had a crazy amount tune in and a lot stay tuned from all over the world. South Africa, I think they mentioned England earlier, like literally thousands of agents from all over the world tuned in and watched this all day because I got blue and then white and then back. And they were here with us all day. Give them a hand for being online. They're not sure. They're not here, but they are watching. Okay? They are watching. All right, who wants to grab the mic first, man? Share a takeaway, speak something to existence. AJ, something different happens when you put it publicly. Stand up, share it with us what you learned, what you're going to take away. It's something, when you proclaim it publicly, something special happens. Watch this.
I'm going to get back to my office. I'm going to time lock a couple hours for myself, and I'm going to make sure I actually sit down, make all my calls and all my dials, reach out to all those companies that I've been trying to, make sales to, and I'm going to sell some policies. Yeah.
Oh, good job, AJ. Dude, AJ, how old are you, bro?
25.
25, man. Dude's committed. Thomas, what if you could start over at 25 like this cat, man? What would you say to him? Grab the mic and speak to him real quick. How old are you?
How old do I look?
35.
57.
57. Bro does not look 57. Okay, give it up for Thomas as he stands up. Also, Thomas was in the VIP event last night. Thomas was hilarious. He was one of the best speakers in the room. He was entertaining, so let's see if you can deliver again, bro.
I'll just repeat what I said last night. My game in the insurance world has been Squid Games. So I just want to say, again, thank you for all the speakers today.
Just leave out the punching this time. Kicking or whatever we do.
The first thing I put into effect is from Darren. To get my operational account, my payroll account, my personal account, my events, and my leagues. That was gold to get those 5 circle tabs. Just to kind of build, restructure Thomas 2.0.
Yeah. What would you say to your 25-year-old self, Ulrich?
My 25,
32 years ago, bro. A long time
I
ago.
had the opportunity to jump into insurance in college. I thought it was a big joke.
Is it a joke now? He said, heck no. He actually said something else. It ain't no joke. Yeah, give it up for Thomas Roberts. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, Johnny, talk to me. Talk to us. How cool is this to hear Johnny on the panel today, right? Is that cool, dude, man, or what, bro? Like, geez, 21.
Yeah, so, my commitment today is to issue pay 50,000 before, from today to before then.
40%?
Yeah,
Is that big enough? You guys think it's big enough? Oh, should we raise this? John, is that big enough? He said no. Yeah, he's at 10K a week 4 weeks. I'm like, okay, well, you got, what do you got? Hang on, you got 6.5 weeks. 65K. 75. The whole room is helping you out, bro. 650,000. Can I hear it? What do you think?
yeah.
All I know is your piece, bro. Okay?
Yeah, no, I definitely.
But 50 is too small.
Okay. We'll go 75.
David, what do you think about that? Can you hit 75?
Yes, but let's get it.
Yes, let's get it. That's right. We're not gonna do the whole huge goal, fall short thing, right? Cool. And yeah, think about that. You were here in, real quick, you're here in LA. You're also gonna be recognized on stage 8% and be a part of Ultimate Agent. You'll see if you won or not. However, think about the story that can happen in these next 39 days when you say, I said in LA I was gonna do 50. The crowd said you should do 75, and I did 76. Is that a better story?
Way better story.
All right, now I'll let you talk, okay?
Yeah, no, so I think that's a huge thing. One of the biggest things that I've been learning recently.
Look at this dude, turn into professional speaker. Get up here. Get up here.
One of the biggest things that I've been learning, and you guys can like practically implement this in your journeys every single day. I've been having my miracle morning, and so from Stephen LeDuc, he's a power player in the Power Players Mastermind, and 15 minutes of gratitude, 15 minutes of prayer, 15 minutes of reading scripture, and then 15 minutes of affirmations. And it's helped me. Like, I'm not touching my phone. I wake up, first alarm, don't snooze it. First alarm, it helps you control from the start of your day. So first alarm, wake up, and Ed Mylett, I actually took it from Ed Mylett. I've been binging his stuff, but yeah, that's my miracle morning. And first hour of the day, not touching my phone, except for my alarm, just turn it off, put on airplane mode, and kind of just leave it. But it's really helped me because right now, like, I've just been investing everything into the business, and sometimes it's like, it really is scary. It's like, dude, if I don't sell today, like, I've literally like paid for these events, I've paid for these coaching things, and it's like, it is like deeply down, like, it's scary. It's like, dude, I might screw my wife and I's life, and it is really scary, but at the end of the day, like, you gotta push that to the side, and this has really helped me. Like, I have so much in life right now. Like, even if I crash and burn, like, what's the worst that could happen? But like, what's the best that could happen? And what's the story that I'm creating right now? And I've looked at that, and I'm like, wow, like, how many 20, 21-year-olds can I impact 5 years down the line and be like, I was there. I understand what you're going through. So that's what's helped me.
All right, let's go. Man, but some of you, okay, we got 4 minutes before we're gonna do the giveaway. Okay, 4 minutes, and there's some of you still sitting there. You're so close. Like, here's what's happening. Okay, you've been sitting here. You didn't really enter your chair like that, but you're sitting here all day. Okay, and you've been sitting up. You haven't been slouching. You've been sitting up. You've been focused. You've been taking in. The energy's been good. You've written. I mean, flipping a whole notebook full of notes, dude. Oh my gosh, bro. Beast. Okay, give it up for Ed for all the notes. Gosh, dang, that's awesome. Okay. However, you haven't moved. You have to take a step in life. I don't care where you're sitting, like what you're going through, what's happening. I don't care how much money your bank account. You got credit cards. You don't. I don't care. You have to make a move. The best way for me to show up and take the next step is for me to make the commitment in the moment. You got 3 minutes. We're taking 2 more. A couple of you need to step up and make a move. I'm challenging you right now because somebody challenged me years ago, and I made a move. But I didn't spend $197. I spent $15,000. and I made a move. That 15 grand is what made me want to start 8% Nation. Are you glad I spent the 15 grand?
Yes.
I mean, honestly though, are you glad I spent the 15 grand? I'm asking you to spend a heck of a lot less to make a move. It created 8% for me for 15. What can it create for you in your life? By show of hands, who wants to be the last two and make a move now? Seriously though. Okay, boom. I also want to hear from that too, because he's got a laundry list of notes, man, okay? Thank you, man. I mean, you don't have to, but who would love to hear from Ed?
Yeah.
Okay. You got voted in. Voted on the island.
I'm starting my 7th year in my career in the military, and prior to that was in the military for 26 years.
Thank you for your service.
And,
Seriously.
I need to educate myself, and this is a challenge for myself, is step out of the box, because a lot of us in the industry has been there. We try to do the same thing over and over, and we're not getting the results. But the last 2 years in my business has been the best, because I've learned to educate myself, and this today has been really refreshing, because I have heard new people speak simple things, but it's one of those things that you just got to keep it simple. And sometimes we try to get so complex in the things that we do, and we're trying to do everything, but just keep it simple. Like in the military, is the old KISS, just keep it simple, and then sometimes people say stupid, but we just have to keep it simple and be able to reach people, and it's about relationship building, and that's what I learned today is it's about the relationship that you have with people. And if you don't have any relationships, try to be a friend with one person, and hopefully that one person will be able to build relationships. They'll be able to teach you how to build your business. So
Yes. Let's go. Give it up for Ed. All right, 2 minutes, Kelly. We got one more spot for upgrades. Okay, who wants to jump on the mic next? Okay, we got 2 minutes. Who wants to take the mic and share what you learned today, takeaway today? The mic's been on that side of the room. Okay, all right, Jesse Park, come on.
I just want to say that even though I'm a speaker, I still learn something every single time I come to somebody. We had, how many new speakers today? Like two
At least,
that
yeah.
haven't been
With a
on
lot.
the show, and I took notes too. Like I feel like I still have a whole lot to learn about all of it, right? So and I'm 5 years in. So if you're a new agent, just imagine how much you can learn. It's just an incredible conference. I have bought 18 tickets. So we're going there.
Give her 18 more. Thank you for the 18. That's awesome. We appreciate you, Jesse, so much. Okay, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. You're amazing. Kelly, I think you may just pick up the last one. Okay, let's see. All right. What's your name, sir? Jay. Jay? Dude, give it up for Jay. He's committed. All right, Kelly, let's do some live drawings. As we're bringing these up, I want to thank our team really quick. You cannot do this without a squad, a team, amazing people. Kelly's our director of ops. She did everything event-wise. Thank you, Kelly. She's a rock star. Alex is the social media manager. Stole it from Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops. Thank you, Johnny. Alex is a freaking rock star too. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you. Okay, give it up for Alex. Devin. Devin is one of our top sales guys. Dude's been with us like 5 months. He made $8,100 last month in our sales room. Who's talked to Devin at some point today? By show of hands, who's talked to Devin at some point today? Okay. All right, dude, you still got a few more to talk to. Okay. Great job. Okay. Dylan, managing our YouTube channel, all of our video, really creative director. Doing a phenomenal job. Him and his best friend and our marketing video manager, Keith, are building the Ultimate Agent to release that in 2 weeks. Super excited for that. Stay tuned for the Ultimate Agent. It's going to be insane. The clips he's been talking about are like crazy. Brett came to me like 9 months ago. He said, hey, this first hotel wants like $21,000 for AV equipment. He said, why don't you spend that, buy all the equipment. We'll ship it to every city and I'll just run it. So that's what we did. We've got crates that ship all the way from Missouri to LA, and that dude's ran every single one. Please give it up for Brett. And it takes people. I said earlier, never hire average. I'm telling you, it takes people. The better the team, the better the results. Which means, I don't know who you got on your team or in your squad, some of you need to fire some people, right? If they're not up to snuff, and it's time to cut them loose. You need great people, you absolutely do, okay? So let's do this. Kelly, which ones? Okay, you got those, okay, good. Those are already upgraded, those, that's good, okay, from earlier. Let's do this, okay? Let's have Kelly come, you know what? Screw it, I'm upgrading all of them. Okay? Edward's going from VIP to Premier. Okay. Good, you got selected, bro. Okay. I guess everybody did. Aurora, I'm in a good mood. It's the last road show. Aurora is going from VIP to $1,000 Premier, including one on job. And if they would have known that, they would have really played the game like this person did. Jay got Premier, which means he's going all the way up to Diamond, a $2,000 ticket. Thank you. And then online, they selected 4 winners for our live audience online. We have I don't know where they're watching from, or where they'll be traveling from to Dallas, because we have people all over the world watching. Nalia Walker is one that's going to get. Also, even from LA, but wasn't in the event, I don't think, but was actually watching online and bought online. Daniel Donovan. Congratulations, Daniel Donovan. Erica Roan, go from VIP to Premier as well. Give it for Erica. And hopefully they're still on. If not, we'll make sure we let them know. And last but not least, Janine Pippix. Give it up for Janine Pippix. Hey, I love it. This has been an unbelievable day. Super fun. I can tell you this. Today was about making decisions. I said it earlier. I'll say it again today. I'm curious what decisions you made. I'm also curious what you're going to do over these next 39 days, like Johnny is, that you're going to push into existence until we meet again in Dallas. And I hope this was a special day for you. This is a surreal moment because it's the last time I get up at a road show. It's our 10th city. We have worked our team to the bone the last 9 months, 10 cities in 9 months, all over the globe, at least the US. From Houston to Orlando to Atlanta to Charlotte to Cincinnati to Philadelphia. I think I got that order, but that's all right. To Philly, to Chicago, to Kansas City, to Denver, to LA. And we're finishing here with you. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being in the room. To Dallas, the road to Dallas, it's called the road to 8%. The next one is Dallas, where instead of about an average of about 100 people at all these, there'll be 2,000. 2,000 in the room, 2,000 crazy people just like you, 2,000 people that want to improve their lives. They want to improve their bank accounts. They want to improve their marriage, their whatever, right? They want to improve it all. Why not improve it all? So thank you for the support. LA, your energy was awesome. We appreciate you, and we will see you at the end of July. Thank you so much.
Shut